It's time for the Free Beer and Hot Wings Show with Free Beer.
They were showing helicopter footage over his house, like traffic chopper footage. Copper. What? There's one for you. Traffic chopper footage. I'm convinced that at some point we're going to read headlines about him and go, well, I didn't know he was into that, but I guess I'm not surprised. Mm-hmm. Could be anything. He might be a putt smeddler, or a smut peddler, or a putt smeddler.
Putt smeddler.
That's not as bad as getting drunk and then climbing behind the car.
I can't believe how many emails we're getting from women
who regularly have sex with work, with delivery drivers, UPS people. Why don't you just let the tires out of the vehicle? Mm-hmm. And everybody's scratching their head and going, huh.
Or let the air out of the tires.
Mm-hmm. I have a great entrance in Munster. Memory serves correct. It was a poisonous snake. I'm going to use the word pass. P starts with pass. It'd be like trying to type on a keyboard while riding in the pickup of a cab going down a bumpy road.
Hot Wings, Eric Zane, producer Joe, and Steve. The Free Beer and Hot Wings Show.
It's Tuesday. It is the Free Beer and Hot Wings Show. Free Beer, Hot Wings, and Eric Zane. Producer Joe here, Steve here. You can join us toll free. 1-800-947-3979. You can email idiots at freebeerandhotwings.com. Flashback later on this hour. Emotional blackmail and secret vasectomies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
All of that on the way a little bit later on this hour.
Did you guys hear this story on CNN? It's amazing when you catch something on TV and say, oh, God, I wish I was at home taping. Because I was actually at the pool yesterday I was getting in my swimsuit, and I saw a story that went, I got to get this. And so as we started this break, I remembered it, and then I punched it up on CNN. And the story is right here, and it's John Roberts, the CNN anchor, about the story about this 10-year-old boy in Arkansas who will not stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Have you heard about this?
No.
He's upset. And I wait till you hear the logic in this kid. Not that his logic is flawed or is flawed or not flawed. That's apparently is up to you. But wait till you hear how, I don't even want to say precocious. He just seems brilliant to me.
Yeah.
And you decide whether he makes a good point or not.
Okay.
But he won't stand during the Pledge of Allegiance. So he was on TV yesterday with John Roberts, him next to his dad. The dad doesn't do much of the talking in this clip, but the kid does most of it. And
he's 10.
In his fifth grade classroom until there really is, as the pledge says, liberty and justice for all. That is, he says, until gays and lesbians have equal rights. Joining us now in an exclusive interview are Will
10?
Phillips and his father, Jay. They're in West Fork, Arkansas for us this morning. Will and Jay, good to see you this morning. Thanks very much for being with us. And Will, let me ask you, first of all, when did you decide that you weren't going to stand up and recite the pledge?
I decided that I was going to do that the weekend before when I did it. I was analyzing the meanings of it because I want to be a lawyer.
Mm-hmm. All right, so what did you decide in analyzing the meanings of it that caused you not to stand up and recite the pledge?
Well, I looked at the end, and it said with liberty and justice for all. And there really isn't liberty and justice for all. There's gays and lesbians can't marry. Mm-hmm. There's still a lot of racism and sexism in the world. Yeah.
Wow.
All right. So you think then that the country isn't living up to the ideals of the pledge, and you took it upon yourself to sit down, not recite the Pledge of Allegiance until the country comes in line to embody the ideals that are embodied in the pledge?
Yes.
All right. So your teacher, who was a substitute teacher at the time, was giving you some grief about not standing up, and this went on for a few days. What did you eventually say to that teacher?
I eventually, very solemnly, with a little bit of malice in my voice, said, "Ma'am, with all due respect, you can go jump off a bridge."
You said solemnly, with a little bit of malice in your voice,
the
"Man,
dad
you
shaking
can go
his
jump
head.
off a bridge." And we saw your dad, Jay, put his face in his hands just then. That obviously, Jay, earned him a trip to the principal's office, and you were contacted after that. What did you think when you heard what was going on there at school?
He's going to get his ass kicked.
Yeah, that's what I'm expecting. The little boy sounds like Sinead O'Connor.
Yeah,
he does. He
sounds
sounds
very wienery.
Yeah, he sounds like he's got like an odd accent.
I would like to say
The Pope is the real criminal. Expect him to tear up the paper.
My initial response was measured and considered, thoughtful, and was he's dead. That's it. He's doomed. However, when I got home and I talked to him, the more I heard from him, the more it became apparent that this wasn't a typical act of juvenile delinquency. This was a very atypical act of juvenile delinquency. He just made it clear that he sat for 4 days and
go back to the kid.
The brunt.
We don't want to hear you, fatty. Go back to the kid.
Criticism.
Yeah, stop trying to sound
and
smart.
Reminded
Slows
her
you down.
that it was his First Amendment right, and that he didn't have to stand or say the pledge. And on the
why is this issue so important to you that you would commit, as your dad said, this atypical act of juvenile delinquency?
Because I have many. I've grown up with a lot of people, and am good friends with a lot of people that are gay, and I
really
a lot.
You did?
I think they should have the rights all people should, and
it's reasonable to believe that he probably has classmates that someday will come out as gay. Just statistically speaking, that's very, very likely. Maybe him, but maybe his family does have lots of gay friends. That's very possible.
I guess so. I guess it's possible.
It just seems it's surprising from a 10-year-old to hear that.
Right.
Where that they do.
So what's the reaction been from your fellow students at school to you not standing up for the pledge and the views that you hold about
this kid is so dead.
Not very good. They've taken from what I said an assumption that I'm gay, and in the halls and the cafeteria I've been repeatedly called a gay wad.
A gay wad?
A gay wad.
What's a gay wad?
What's a gay wad?
I really don't know. It's a discriminatory name for homosexuals.
Okay. All right. Well, Jay, were you prepared? This has obviously gone well beyond the school. This is the sort of thing that, as you know, gains the attention of the national media. Were you prepared for the type of reaction, both positive and negative, that your son's actions have precipitated?
I'm amazed at how measured this 10-year-old is.
He seems like the smartest person on TV of the three of them, including... he seems smarter than his dad, and his dad doesn't seem like a big dummy, but the kid seems smarter, and he seems smarter than the fact that a 10-year-old was prepared to answer what seems like a ridiculous question, what's a gay wad? The only answer really is it's a slur.
It's a discriminatory term for homosexual.
Am I the only one that's a little creeped out by this kid?
I thought I would be, but I'm surprisingly comfortable hearing it come from him because he looks like such a wiener.
Well, he does look like a wiener, but he sounds like a robot.
Oh, he does, but he's brilliant. He's clearly brilliant, at least to me, to be able to manipulate the vocabulary in such a way that he is at that age.
Yeah. And even just the concepts he's thinking about are a little bit bigger than that age. Whether you agree with the stance he takes or not, I would think you would have to acknowledge that he seems crazy smart.
For the record, I don't agree that he should not stand for the pledge, but he makes some really strong points about the end of that thing there.
Yeah.
And what he's basing it on is how do you argue with that?
It's a good form of protest, yeah.
I would hate to argue with this kid.
Well, actually, before we heard from anybody, my first thought was, oh my God, this is the type of thing.
We don't want to hear from you.
Talk to the local news. have.
I want to hear from you.
What we saw in the off-year election just a couple of weeks ago, a same-sex marriage initiative was put to the test, put to the voters in the state of Maine. And every state across the nation where it has been put to the voters, it has gone down to defeat. So the democratic process is taking place here. Seems to be something that voters at large do not support. So what will it take for you to return to saying the pledge?
For there to truly be liberty and justice for all.
And what does that entail?
That entails
me not getting my head stuffed in the toilet.
Everyone being able to marry.
All right. Will Phillips, Jay Phillips, great to see you this morning. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll keep watching the story.
Malls in the cafeteria have been rough. I've been termed a gay one. I mean, it's not surprising.
Oh, yeah. This kid is going to get his ass kicked for the next 8 years. I mean, devastating.
And by then, he'll be done with law school.
Yeah.
At 18.
Yeah. Well, he'll have brought a gun to school. It doesn't matter. This kid's going to be ruined by all the other idiot kids who will not like that. We will be seen somewhere in Arkansas, this kid, with, what do they call it, bandoleros, Joe? He comes into school with bullets, dressed in bullets. This little kid is too smart. And they're going to beat the hell out of him until he falls in lockstep.
He is.
And like Private Pile, he's going to go bonkers.
He is crazy smart. I imagine some kid will punch him after calling him a gay wad, and he will go, "Ouch, you have injured my solar plexus."
What?
Oh,
Every punch comes with a diagnosis.
Huh? Man, what to do to have a kid who thinks like that? I mean, he's so bright, it's going to hurt him. He is so thoughtful and thought-filled, it is going to physically hurt him.
He may need a special school, like a school for more advanced children, some sort of just an advanced school. Staying in, if he's at a public school now with a bunch of meatheads who want to beat him up for being different, probably not the best situation.
Completely
I'm no expert.
Screwed,
yeah, it's
man.
tough to be different in elementary school.
Oh, what a bummer.
In a
I feel
moment,
bad for him.
Why did this song get popular? Now, you might think there's an obvious answer.
Okay. Because
it's great.
Not to Robert. He didn't like it.
He doesn't like it. No. Well, there's an alternate theory going around that I believe that Hot Wings and Zane, and I know I do, will absolutely agree with. We'll share that coming up in a moment. We'll take a break. It is the Free Beer and Hot Wings Show.
Sure, you may think these guys suck.
Bloated, washed up, pathetic, no talent.
But you're the one listening to them.
1-800-947-3979. You can email idiots at freebeerandhotwigs.com. Flashback comes up a little bit later on. Emotional blackmail and secret vasectomies. That's on the way. So I mentioned at the end of the last segment this song, Stairway to Heaven, Led Zeppelin.
Mm-hmm.
I said, why was this a massive hit? Why was this popular?
Oh, good song.
That seems like a good start.
I just like it.
Yeah, well,
I like that it starts off slow and it has that nice huge build.
Great guitar solo, the razor-sharp vocals of Robert Plant.
And as Zane mentioned earlier, Robert Plant says that he'd rather die than have to play this song anymore.
Doesn't like it. Does not like doing it, I'm sure.
Actually, he said that a long time ago, and
yeah.
I'm sure he still feels that way.
Yeah.
Well, there's an author out who has a book out called Shadows Taller Than Our Souls about Led Zeppelin.
It's one of the lyrics of that song.
Of this song?
Mm-hmm.
He says that it became a radio hit, not because it's a great song. He doesn't deny that it's a great song, but that there were several songs on this album that could have been a hit instead. But he says it's for one very specific reason that it got massive radio airplay.
Oh, I can think of it.
I bet you can. What is it?
To give the DJ a time to take a dump.
He says time to take a dump and time to have a smoke.
But there's even better songs to play. You grab Physical Graffiti and put on some of the ones on that one, and you're going to get even more time.
They made the argument mainly on this one because of the smoking aspect. They said that because radio at the time was all about short songs. You got to remember, a lot of the songs, and you guys know, were 3 minutes at most, whereas now the average song is often around 4.5. Yeah. Back then, 3 minutes was a long time. So when you needed that smoke break, perfect length to smoke a cigarette.
Shut
they
down
said
the mics, get up.
Any longer,
grab your Marlboro Lights,
and you're in trouble.
Mm-hmm. You smoke 2.
The PD didn't much play in those long songs.
You can smoke 2 or pound it. That's what you did late at night.
Right. If you were going to smoke 2 and pound it, you would play this and then this.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
that's
man.
Like 15, 20 minutes.
Then you'd be all set.
This one made Stairway look like a damn Jerry Lee Lewis song.
Yeah.
An extra 2 minutes here.
Yeah. What was this, 9:17?
9:06.
Oh, balls. It was close.
But how about it? See, I knew you guys that would be your first thought, because we're just old enough to have played CDs and in some cases vinyl.
Yeah.
Because now, like, that would never happen with a song now, because in today's radio, everything is on computer, and so you could pile 50 songs in a row, hit auto, and you could go to your bathroom at home if you wanted to.
Yeah, it's no big deal now, but
back then you had
a few years ago,
everything was manually fired. Now it's crazy. There are really only about 11 or 12 radio jobs in the country today because of automation, computers, and technology.
See that article I sent to you last night?
Another radio company is doing a big, massive bomb dropping. Joe, I mean, tons of jobs gone.
Yeah. Tons of
obliterated.
Tons of successful, hardworking people getting the axe so that bigger names and bigger markets can be piped in.
No offense, River and Hotwing Show, except we're not bigger names.
No, we're not. I wish we were.
It does bring up a bunch of opportunities for this show, because one of the things they specifically said in this article, which was kind of like an internet op-ed about these massive cuts for this huge-ass company, they go, it paves the way for cheaper syndicated shows. And I'm like, bonus!
There's no such thing as a cheaper syndicated show than this one.
Nope. This is about as cheap as it gets.
Peter, how much are we going to get for this deal in whatever town? I've decided that you're going to pay them.
1-800-947-3979. So, yeah, that's how it is now. But the idea that happens.
Oh, dude, yeah. I mean, it was that. And then I used to go out of my way. I would get to how did I work this? There was a gigantic there was a reel-to-reel machine.
Mm-hmm.
And I would take if you used a big reel, you could get about 60 minutes of tape on that thing at 7.5 IPS.
Mm-hmm.
7.5 inches per second. You could get about 60 minutes of material. And I worked overnights. And during the first 2 hours of the show, and if I was really feeling like I wanted to get this done, I would just show up early and do this. And I would go into the production room and set up all of my music and record an hour's worth of show.
Yeah.
I would hit play and record on this tape and have all the music list and all the commercials and record a show. And so if I prepared it, I had 3 hours of tape on three different reels.
Yeah.
And so from midnight to 3, I would be on the air live, and then I'd run into the production room when I'd fire the song, and then time it out. So if the other one was ending, then I'd fire. And I'm doing 2 shows at once.
Yeah.
And recording one of them. And then I would lift all those tapes up, and 3 o'clock would roll around, and I'd put on my tape of what was going to happen anyway. It's the overnight. Who cares? It was my primitive version of what's known as voice tracking, which is now done on a computer hours before the jock hits the air. And then I'd hit play at 3 a.m., set the alarm for 56 minutes, lay down on a sleeping bag that I brought and a pillow,
and
sleep for 1 hour. With about 2.5 minutes left in whatever I've recorded.
Yeah.
It ends with my voice going into commercials. I fire the commercials live
Right.
While the commercials are running, I pull the tape off, throw a new reel up, and then 4.5 minutes later of commercials, boom, hit the tape again, night-night.
Back to sleep. No kidding. And the crazy thing is, if someone was listening, your boss, they would not have known.
No,
But if they
never
had
known.
caught you, they would have fired you.
Maybe.
Or at the very least, you'd have been in trouble.
Yeah, they'd be in trouble. But Mike was pretty out of the box, this PD, so he would have probably went, oh, that's pretty cool, but don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
But
they just wanted a warm body there to make sure the tunes kept
that's
playing.
exactly right.
I could have.
And this radio station was in the middle of a mobile home.
Yeah.
Or in the middle of a field in a mobile home. And so I did that up until 6 when, like, the King Biscuit Flower Hour in the studio with Redbeard would take over or some other show, Rockline, I don't know, you know. And then so that was it, 3 hours of that. And then I'd wake up and then go work at McDonald's.
There was a good reason for you to do that, though. You had a crazy schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was
Were you taking
awesome.
classes then, too?
For part of it, yeah.
Holy balls.
Yeah. Oh, my God. It was a pain in the ass.
Overnights, McDonald's, and classes.
Yeah, I would come home.
And a family? Was Jim born?
No, it was just us. Just my wife and I. So I'd get 6 hours in. I'd make $30 in those 6 hours. $5 an hour.
After taxes, brutal.
Man,
Yeah.
I'm pissed that I never thought of that reel-to-reel thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
really disappointed.
that's pretty
in
sharp.
myself.
I don't know anyone else who's ever done that.
That was fun.
I'm sure there are maybe not.
I'd F it up all the time, though. There'd be dead air.
That's what would have killed me. I wouldn't have been able to sleep because I would have been paranoid that in the middle somebody walked in, flipped a switch, and I had 1 hour of Tim Stout financial update or something in the middle of my tape.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That wouldn't be good. Up next, the flashback, emotional blackmail, and secret vasectomies. That's on the way. We'll take a break. It is the Free Beer and Hot Wings Show.
Email the show, idiots@freebeerandhotwings.com.
So what's the reaction been from your fellow students at school to you not standing up for the pledge and the views that you hold about this issue?
Not very good. They've taken from what I said an assumption that I'm gay, and in the halls and the cafeteria I've been repeatedly called a gay wad.
Remarkable. 10-year-old from Arkansas.
I wish you would have followed it up with,
I've been pummeled mercilessly for hours on end.
Probably also
Mini-me. Get the laser.
I have also been referred to a time or two on occasion as a dookie chew.
And a rump ranger. And Fudge Packer has also infiltrated the hallways, as well as Pole Smoker.
Just one euphemism after another. Flashback today. Emotional blackmail and secret vasectomies. Some friends of ours from Omaha, they have 2 children. Okay, they've been married for about 10 years.
Okay,
they're in their mid-30s. Okay.
Yeah.
They have a great marriage. Like I said, I referred to them earlier as the couple that I always looked at their marriage and said, man, I hope ours is what theirs is, because it was always good. They're always great friends, in love, all that stuff. Even after they had kids, because sometimes you have kids and it kind of changes things and everything else. So they have 2 kids. Their youngest is 4. Okay, so it's been a while. The oldest is 6, so 6 and 4.
Okay,
and 2 boys.
Okay.
The wife wants to have a 3rd child.
Yep.
They had always said 2 kids.
Mm-hmm.
Roll the dice, 2 girls, done. 2 boys, done.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay?
Yeah.
The husband does not want another kid.
Okay.
Loves the 2 that he has, but also loves the little bit of freedom they're getting closer to having by the kids getting older and being able to do stuff with them. Does not want to start over with infant and everything else. Just doesn't want another child. Just I don't know what his reasons are. He just says he doesn't want it. You know what I mean? You can get that way.
He's had it. He's got 2. That's enough for him. All right.
They've been debating it for a year. Okay. And obviously neither of them, I think a lot of couples get in this situation, and I think a lot of times the husband will just go, if you really want one, we'll do it. Sort of the chivalrous thing to do, it seems like at that point. He's dead set, does not want another baby. The wife actually said this to me on the phone the other day when it came up, and I don't know how. It's one of those things where now it doesn't have to come up.
Right.
It bothers her so much that, hey, how you doing? Not bad. He still doesn't want to have another baby. Oh,
right.
You know, it's very uncomfortable. It's like Hot Wings when you were dating that one girl who wanted to get engaged, and you could say, hey, what's going on? And her answer would be, no ring yet.
Right,
where it
exactly.
It doesn't have to have anything
matter
to do
what
with
the context is.
And,
yes.
and it's very uncomfortable. And so she brings it up, and she actually referred to it as the biggest disappointment in her life. Which, of course, he finds, that really bothers him, that he's responsible for the biggest disappointment of her life.
Well, there's only one way to fix it. He's going to have to
divorce her. I would for that comment.
I was going to say plant his seed.
You think he should have the baby?
It's the only way. I mean, let's face it. Guys, we're the providers, but our irons in the fire are different than a woman's, and the only way he's ever going to have peace in his life again. I'm not saying it's right. It's not. If he doesn't want, they've got to come to some kind of common ground. But he's never going to get peace unless
this is part of the quickening.
Unless he gives her.
No. This is part of the maturation of this relationship. He sticks to his gun, keeps saying no until she backs the hell down. That's what I did with this kitten that my daughter wants. Keep saying no and give her a hell no occasionally, and she'll get the message. You'll break that spirit.
What if your daughter came home and said, "This is the biggest disappointment of my life," and cried about it daily?
I'd say, live on, because you're going to marry somebody, and that'll be the biggest disappointment.
Everybody knows you marry someone like your father. Oh.
But he smells like Bud. He always poops his pants.
But I love him.
Well, there's one other thing that he could do. He could just have a secret vasectomy and then say...
now there you go.
And then say, you know what, I've been thinking about it, and you're right, let's try.
Now that's pretty cool.
And then it just never happens, and he goes, I don't know what happened. I'm going to go to the doctor and see what the problem is. And then, he can get a note, and the doctor can say something's wrong.
How's he going to explain limping around for a week?
Well, I've never had one, but I don't know how, invasive
he can cover
it is.
that up. I wonder if anybody out there
he could say he hurt his leg or something.
Done the secret vasectomy. What a genius plan.
That's a stupid plan.
What's
God's
wrong with
name?
that?
How are you going to sneak off from your wife and have surgery?
It's an outpatient deal.
Right? You don't just get done and then run around a racetrack. You're going to have some healing time.
Right.
Yeah, but the guy's not a marathon runner, is he? Is he Lance Armstrong?
It's a minor incision, and if he plans it right, he can just say he hurt himself. That's all he has to do. It's a breeze. I think this is freaking amazing.
I mean, that's his only option.
What a way
that's
to solve
the way
it.
to go.
Yeah, because really, and you're right, solving marriage difficulties through lying, that's the way to go.
Okay, but don't forget.
Yeah, but
it's in his power. At this point, she is saying, this is the biggest disappointment of my life, and it falls squarely on him. If he takes it out of his hand and makes it an involuntary issue, he's home free.
Then it's nature's fault.
And he's living
No
with a
harm,
lie
no
the rest of his life.
He'll
every
get
time
over it.
Every time she says, "I wish I had another baby."
Hey,
okay, well, this is what he's got.
Lies.
This is what he's got away, though. Is what's worse to live with, this little lie or another child I don't want?
Little lie?
Well, it is.
That's not a little lie. It's
But
a big one.
But still, what's
doesn't
more
want
important to him? Not having a child or having a lie under?
Yeah, and if he's got a
he
kid,
can't get out of it any other way.
He's got a kid that he's not committed to. He's probably doing that unborn child, an injustice by having it.
Right.
So, he's not going to give it nearly as much attention that he would if he really wanted the kid, and that could be a problem.
You don't want to have the kid and then resent the child.
Hot Wings, I'm sick and tired of you being right all the time. I wish Freebeer would occasionally be right.
It'd be nice once in a while. I agree.
This is John. Hi, John.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Have you been you've been in this situation?
I haven't, but I know my brother is friends with a couple who were in this situation, and the guy didn't stick to his guns. He finally gave in after arguing back and forth. They ended up, after their first two, when they went for their third, they had triplets.
No! Unacceptable!
No! So maybe he should stick to his guns.
You know what? There are 2 or 3 guys that I play basketball with from time to time that had that exact same situation where they were talked into the next step, and then they had multiple births, and their family doubled or tripled in one case. Same sort of situation? No way, man.
Yeah, there was one couple that at the church they said to say a prayer for because they had 5. They were on fertility drugs. They had 2 sets of twins and another baby. They went for one more for whatever reason, and they had quintuplets.
Oh.
They had 10 kids.
Oh, my God. So they already had 5, and they thought, hey, what's one more?
Yeah. Well, that serves them right. They should live in a shoe at that point.
Oh, yeah, forget that, man. Move to Utah.
Thank you, John.
We got an email about the secret vasectomy. Kathleen writes, can't do it. Wife has to sign a paper? What? Are you kidding me?
That can't be true.
And the minor incision apparently took a week away from my husband's life. Frozen peas in your crotch is the least of your problems for the first few days. Blah, blah, blah. I'm saying do it in a corrupt method then. Get it so that a
go
doc
to
will
another
do it.
state.
Do it with a Bowie knife if you have to, but get it done.
I would love to see you, if you were in this situation, if you would go and get a corrupt surgery on your gonads.
I would.
Well, yeah, I mean, come on, it's like all he has to do is say he's taking a fishing vacation or something and be gone for a week.
It wouldn't be the first time Zane had back alley gonad work done.
Oh, no. Oh, that's rough.
Yeah, but that wasn't surgery. That was teasing.
Friday. We're going to have to play Curly Shuffle after that one.
You're going to like these next 2 calls.
Okay.
This is Joe. Hi, Joe.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Tell Hot Wings and Zane what you did.
I had it done without telling my wife.
Oh, you had a secret vasectomy.
Yeah,
you did.
I had a secret vasectomy.
How did you pull it off?
Well, it's not that bad. You go in. I told her I had to go on a 2-day trip for business because you go in on a Friday, you do it right in the office, and they send you home in 10 minutes. But you need a day of just sitting around with an ice pack on you.
Well, that's what I was just saying. Tell them you're going fishing or something.
Right?
All right,
exactly.
Joe.
Okay, go ahead.
I came back the next day. I was fine.
Okay, now, Joe, were you inspired to do this because same scenario? She wanted another child?
She wanted another child.
Oh, my God. You are living the dream, brother.
Now,
I had enough.
How many kids did you already have?
2.
Does she know to this day?
No.
Is there any chance she's hearing this?
No, not at all. She doesn't listen to you guys. She thinks we're all jackasses.
Okay.
She does. That's great.
Oh, my God. I can't imagine. Have you ever felt guilty?
I have a friend who did it, too.
Mm-hmm.
The only problem with him was he did it secretly, and his wife got pregnant.
Uh-oh.
So she obviously was fooling around.
No way.
He didn't know how to confront her because he had to tell her that he lied about the vasectomy.
Hey, at that point, her lie's way worse than his lie.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh,
man.
no.
Yes, it is.
What do you mean you don't know?
No, yeah,
what the hell's wrong with you?
You're right.
That's way worse. At least he wasn't cheating on her.
God. So now
that's karmic retribution right there, though.
Oh, no, that's way worse, man.
So he's raising this child?
Yes, he is.
Is it?
He's living with the guilt that, I never told her I had the vasectomy. I can't confront her now.
I bet it looks like that movie, Me, Myself, and Irene, with Jim Carrey, where she had sex with the short black limo driver.
Oh, yeah.
And they had 3 black kids.
Oh, yeah.
That.
Is he a white guy, and was it a black kid?
No, it wasn't.
Oh, that'd be something. And then he's still living the lie.
Man, everybody's dark Italian. The kid's blonde.
I can't figure out why he's black.
Thank you, Joe.
You're welcome.
Man,
oh my God.
That's something, man.
Oh,
I can't imagine it. But this is Ned. Ned, hello.
Hey.
You had a friend who did this?
Yeah, a neighbor in town I used to live in. He did it and never told his wife. They had 4 kids. She wanted another one.
Yeah, 4 is enough.
I had one, and I was, like the last caller said, I was down for a day.
Mm-hmm.
But, I milked it.
Kids.
You milked yourself or the injury?
You made it last longer? Yeah.
Yeah.
No kidding. Excellent. Thank you, man.
How he pulled it off. His wife found out from the doctors a short while afterwards.
Yeah. Did they stay together, or was she?
Yeah, they stayed together.
Had to be a problem, though.
Yeah, it was for a while. It was a small problem. I don't think it was too big a deal.
Man.
Holy.
Thank you, Ned.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's one of those things where if the wife finds out, you got to be sort of looking divorce right in the eye at that point.
I don't think the way to pull
that's
that
a
off,
big
yeah, that is a big
piece
thing.
of
that's pretty big lies to a woman if she really wants another one. The only way you can pull that off as the guy is if you're also the one who handles all the incoming mail, so to speak, like you pay all the bills and everything.
Yeah.
You're kind of the gatekeeper, or if you go somewhere else and pay cash.
Yeah, and this started.
Don't put it on insurance.
If you're just tuning in, this conversation started with some friends of ours that we knew in Omaha. The husband does not want to have a 3rd child. The wife refers to that as the biggest disappointment of her life. And the reason it came up is because they found out some of their other friends were having the baby, and he was insensitive enough to go in and go, "Hey, guess what? John and Mary are having a 4th baby."
Uh-oh.
And he saw the tears in her eyes.
What a dumbass.
So he had it coming at that point.
Yeah, idiot.
But let's see. This is Chris. Hello, Chris.
Hey.
What do you say? This is another classic guy answer that I think we might agree with as well. Chris, what do you say that they should do?
Well, I was going to say, like, this guy, obviously, he wants to be done with all the diaper changing and the midnight wake up and feeding and all that stuff.
Oh, man.
Just tell her that, that's going to be all on her. All that, midnight feedings and,
Well, it normally is anyway.
All that stuff,
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Just because obviously that's what he wants to be done with. Not that he's not going to love the kid, but, that's.
The baby starts crying.
Once you're at that stage, you get out of the, all them diapers. You're done with it.
Yeah.
I got 4 kids. I was changing diapers for 12 years.
Have you ever done that math problem where you figure out how many diapers per week and how many calendar months you've changed, how much money you've spent on diapers? Have you ever done that stat?
I never figured out how much money, but I know
the number.
Like I said, it's been that many years. There wasn't a break in a year.
In 4 years, you're looking at 12 years worth of diaper changing.
Yeah, because
oh my God,
timed out. It's just it's forever.
What a nightmare!
Yeah.
I'm tired of seeing poop.
And when you think you're done with one, and then you have another, and you're like, oh, here comes the diapers again.
Yeah. Yep. You got it. Thank you, Chris. One more. This is John. Hi, John.
How you doing?
You had the secret V done as well?
Yes, I did.
All right. Same situation? Wife wanted another child and you didn't?
Well, no. Different situation. Live-in girlfriend wanted to get knocked up.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
She told my best friend's wife that she was trying to get knocked up without me knowing about it.
Like sneaking off the pill or whatever?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
See, now that's dirty pool right there. So you got the right to go and do whatever you want at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. I figured out her cycle the week that she would have her period, scheduled my appointment for her first day.
Mm. Oh, and, terrific planning.
Played like I was going to work.
Yep.
Sat home on the couch. I would actually leave for work every day and just go grab a cup of coffee, sit down by the bay till she left, and then go home and sit in a recliner all day.
Oh, man.
That's great.
So she didn't want to have nothing to do with sex for at least a week anyway. So
and neither did you at that point.
That's right. I was just icing the boys down.
Now, are you guys still together?
No.
No.
Well, that's good, man.
Friend.
Did you ever tell her?
She found out later on through the grapevine.
Yeah.
Oh, you did that intentionally.
Well, that's one of those things where it's such a good plan. You kind of have to say to one of your boys, "Hey, guess what I did?"
You probably did it, and you probably amped it up.
One of the best planning things I think of the whole century.
I
that's
agree.
Pretty good plan.
I agree.
Thank you, John.
There you go.
You started off with he should have it and do the right thing for his wife, and then after that it became how many ways can you deceive her?
Oh yeah,
that's about right.
Well, you gotta both agree, and if not, she can't be making those inflammatory statements like that.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Shut your mouth.
Having a kid is such a big decision. You kind of have to agree or disagree.
Yes.
And that doesn't necessarily mean it's her job to change her mind, but it's pretty hard to go into it with one person wanting to do it. And by the way, we did hear you say, go and do your chores.
I figured you did.
Very popular. Go and do your chores.
That's always a good phrase to remember.
Alex, have you ever said that to your wife? I'm going to guess no.
I probably have, but in a fun way.
Yeah. There's no. I
mean, I tell her lots of stupid things, like that belittle her, but in a funny way.
Like in an old school, you know better kind of way.
Yeah, like go kick your shoes off and wash my clothes.
Yeah, right.
You know, but then I have to look and smile and then sheepishly go away and do some chores of my own.
Honey, I'm home. Where are my drinks and slippers?
Yeah, stuff like that. I'm going to use that one today. I haven't used that one in a while. Where's my highball?
See, I like that because I know that your wife will look at you and say, shouldn't you be hanging Christmas lights or vacuuming?
Yeah.
Or something?
Yeah.
Or take the baby. I am going to.
Yeah, exactly.
Right
yeah. Kiss my ass. Here's your drink and the baby.
Here, stay home and think of more hilarious jokes while I go do things.
There you go, funny man.
You can check out the website, freebeerandhotwings.com. All sorts of new stuff up there every day. Every once in a while we'll get somebody who hasn't seen it yet, and they go, oh, you changed it. Like a year ago.
Yeah.
We'll take a break. It is the Free Beer and Hot Wings Show.
It's
It's time, isn't it?
The Free Beer and Hot Wings Show with Eric Zane.
Bike, swim, run, looking kind of dumb. When I ride a road bike, my joint gets numb. Heading on the road, kicking my legs, looking like a hobbit just to finish the race. I'm a little fella, just gonna try to run that race and maybe get by. Head out on the swim, stroke to stroke, looking for a girl that says no poke. On the bike, ride through transition. I like fishing. Easy rhyme on the microphone. Looking for a rap and a girl to bone.
Producer Joe.
Amy Winehouse, she can't rap, but neither can I. They both sound like crap. Look at me in my stupid booth. I got big old donkey tooth. That is stupid. It doesn't make sense.
Hot Wings.
Trying to work in words like Forte ain't so easy, it sounds kind of gay. My name is Hot Wings. I like to rap. This is not good. It's crap.
Yeah. As soon as you said rap, I knew you were destined to say the word crap because Joe had said it.
Yeah.
And what else are you going to do?
Yeah, what else rhymes?
Free Beer.
I knew when I said everybody takes a turn that someday this would turn to the king of burn. Now it's my turn. I started out real fast, but this rap is made of glass. I'm gonna fail. It'll be real soon, but I think I've gone far enough to make my wife do a swoon.
And Steve.
Subject matter, Steve.
I'm the new guy. My name is Steve. When I sneeze, I wipe my nose on my sleeve. I haven't have any idea what to say, so I'm just going to say that Zane is gay. That's all I got, so I'm going to go, and this is the worst thing that I've ever done.
Heard on the show.
Heard on the
show. You could have finished real nice. That was a good try.
That was terrific.
We all suck.
The Free Beer and Hot Wings Show.
It's Tuesday. It is the Free Beer and Hot Wings Show. Free Beer and Hot Wings and Eric Zane. Producer Joe here, Steve here. You can join us toll free, 1-800-947-3979. You can email idiots at freebeerandhotwings.com. This hour, you know, they say there are no new ideas in Hollywood.
Yeah.
I saw a list this morning of the top 30 grossing films of this decade from Hollywood.
Yeah.
I believe it's 2 or 3 were new ideas that weren't based on a remake, a TV show, a book, a toy, or an existing franchise of some sort.
Wow. Man, that's something.
That's pretty ridiculous. We'll talk about that. We'll get into some specifics coming up on that a little bit later on. Also, if you saw 60 Minutes on Sunday night, then you know that we're within 5 years of having the world's first dino chicken. If you didn't see it, we'll explain what that means coming up a little bit later on.
Okay.
Palin. All over Oprah. Can't wait to hear more of those clips.
Yeah, I watched it yesterday. She came off better in that than she had in any other interview that I had seen.
Really, you think?
Yeah.
That's not saying much. I thought she had come off very poorly in a lot of other interviews, but in this one, she seemed a little more comfortable.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't see the whole thing, but I saw bits and pieces and kind of thought the same thing, that it wasn't terribly awkward.
If some of the stuff that she says is true, then she did get the short end of the stick in a couple of instances. With the way she was perceived. Now, people are already coming out and saying, well, her side of the story is retold in a way to make her look much better, which that would make sense too. But even some of the stuff talking about the Katie Couric interview, she said that was actually hours of interviews, several hours of interviews that was cut up into a couple minute segments.
Yeah.
I hate that excuse though. I mean, because if you're clear and concise and forthright and honest, how can that be? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And specifically, she chalked that up as to why she gave such a bad answer to Katie Couric's question, well, what do you read? What forms your worldview? And she said, I was already irritated with Katie before that, and so I let my irritation show on that answer. Well, then
Too bad.
That may mean you're not as dumb as you seemed, but it does mean that you're a bad politician who gets rattled easily by someone asking you what you read. So it's better, but it's not.
Yeah, I mean, even if they ask you 10 times, then still.
Since you referenced it, here is that exact moment that Oprah and Sarah Palin focused on.
Obviously, you've read books and magazines. Why didn't you just name some books or magazines?
Well, and obviously, but it was like
you couldn't think of any in the moment.
No, it was more like, are you kidding me? Are you really asking me? To me, it was in the context of, do you read? How do you stay informed? You're way up there. It seemed like she was discovering this nomadic tribe, a member of a tribe from some Neanderthal cave in Alaska, asking me, how do you stay in touch with the real world?
See, and in watching that, I felt like she assumed Katie Couric was being insulting by asking that. But I think, to play devil's advocate for Katie Couric, she was asking that because Sarah Palin was a candidate no one had heard of on the national scene. And if they had been from Pennsylvania or Oklahoma, they probably, if it was someone as unknown, they probably would have been asked the same question, because you have no idea what you're basing that person's, where that person's coming from, where they're rooted, where they're based.
Yeah, she's probably heard enough Alaska jokes, where is that she just was a little too overly sensitive and read too much into the question.
That's how it seemed, yeah.
Well, here, in this one, she seems pretty insulting to Katie Couric. I'm sure Couric would be insulted by this.
We had just come off the most amazing rally, and I'm pumped up. We're running backstage, and my friend Bexy, she opens the curtain, and there's the perky one again with the microphone and the camera's rolling, and I'm like, dang, give me just a couple of minutes to gather.
You mean Katie?
With all due respect, nicely, yeah.
With all due respect.
I like how he's saying, with all due respect, you can say anything you want.
Yeah. You're an F and A-hole, with all due respect.
Yeah.
Which means you're not due much respect.
I think you're a horrible mother and a terrible wife and a whore, with all due respect.
She nails on a chalkboard to me.
Yeah, the tone, the style.
Yeah.
The one thing, there's still, at least, and there are obviously people who love her. She continues to test very well, and when they talk about potential candidates for president amongst Republicans, she still does very well. But, she again addressed why she resigned her post as governor of Alaska, and for the life of me, I can't understand. I can understand what she's saying. I just think it's the wrong logic, but whatever. That's pretty crazy.
Now she's at her book tour. She's going nowhere popular. She's not going to Los Angeles. She's not going to New York. She's not going to Philly. She's avoiding these big communities and hitting only strongholds of Republican support. And I don't know why would you do that?
Well,
there's plenty of people in those towns that like her.
Yeah, you would think you would still get plenty of people out, but it diminishes the possibility of controversy, and the book's not on sale yet, and it's like #1 on Amazon.
Oh, so she's
going to be fine.
Yeah.
So I guess why not go places where people love you?
Mm-hmm.
You sounded like her.
Love ya.
Love ya.
Love ya.
Making the rounds.
Sure, you betcha.
Yep.
You betcha.
Barf. Tennessee Titans owner, 86 years old, Bud Adams, fined $250,000 from the NFL. By yesterday afternoon, he had released a statement acknowledging that he just got carried away with the excitement of the game and the Titans' now 3-game winning streak, and that he was flipping off specifically fans of the Buffalo Bills, and apologized to the fans, to the Bills players, to their management, and to longtime Bills owner Ralph Wilson, and said, I will accept whatever fine and punishment the NFL deems necessary. Which to his credit, but man, that video of him waving those fingers around and everything else, that's classic.
There should be more of that.
Kevin Mawai, the center for the Tennessee Titans, was on Jim Rome's show yesterday when I was driving home from work, and he was asked about it, and they said, Kevin, what do you think of that? Was that a good idea? And he goes, well, I can't. He's being diplomatic, because not only does he not want to get in trouble with the league, but it's also his owner. And he said, well, as far as I know, that's really out of character for Mr. Adams, and I can't say whether I thought it was right or wrong, but I can say that I thought it was really funny.
You didn't say that?
Yeah. And apparently, as soon as he got to the Titans office yesterday, that people were like, hey, did you see this?
come here, and they're ripping it up on YouTube, and everybody who comes in is standing around watching the owner flip the bird from the owner's box. The fact that he's, it'd be one thing, like if Mark Cuban did that in the NBA, I'd be like, whatever.
Yeah,
but the fact that it was 86-year-old Bud Adams doing it.
Yeah, it's funny when it's an old dude.
Well, that's like when former head coach, the late, great Woody Hayes, would punch players from the other team when they would get close to the sideline. That kid from Clemson back in the 70s went out of bounds. And Hayes goes up to him and punches the guy right in the face.
Yeah, lifts up the face mask and goes at the jaw.
It was a feeble old man hit, but who cares? He did it.
Got him fired. Apparently, he punched one of his own players right after that in that same moment.
I didn't know that. We had just recently saw that.
Yeah,
off the air.
What a crazy thing. The fact that
he
you don't see that enough.
Holcocked him. There's a lot of speculation going around about Brock Lesnar because of the fact that they're being so secretive. And a lot of people are saying that the reason they're being so secretive and that Brock Lesnar doesn't want anyone talking about it is because whatever illness he has, which now the UFC has acknowledged it's something intestinal. A lot of people are saying it's because it's injuries or problems sustained because of his years of alleged steroid abuse, which certainly it wouldn't be out of the question to think that Brock Lesnar has had a history with some sort of performance-enhancing drugs just because of his sheer bulk.
Yeah, just look at him.
Yeah. I mean,
he's not natural.
No.
And so there are a lot of people speculating that that's what's led to his problem.
Wow. Well, that would be something.
No way to tell, but they're saying that he may never fight again.
Really?
That's what Dana White said. They said he's in danger of never fighting again.
Well, why are they being so coy about it?
I don't know.
That doesn't make any sense.
They're using the excuse that Lesnar doesn't want anyone to know about it. And if that's the case, I mean, legally you have to respect his rights, the disclosure laws
Somebody
and
will
stuff.
find out. You see, that's...
Yeah, now TMZ's digging on it. Websites like that.
The first way to get everybody up to speed as to what's happening to you is come out and say it's confidential and keep it quiet. You're better off just lying, making it up.
That's the thing. Yeah, you
fell
can just
off
lie.
A bridge. You can say anything.
Say
something plausible and then let it go.
They bought time that way because when they canceled his pay-per-view, they said, well, he's got sick. It looks like he's got mono. And so that bought a couple weeks. People went, he's got mono. You can't fight. You can't train if you have mono. You can't fight if you have mono. And now he's going to the hospital and they're saying something bigger. And so now they got to come up with something
He could have
else.
said anything. The fact that it's private. Now everybody's going to know.
Swine flu. Swine flu. Who wouldn't believe that right about now?
Yeah.
On the way next, what is a dino chicken? And why are we going to have one in 5 years? We'll get to that coming up in a moment. We'll take a break. It is the Free Beer and Hot Wings Show.
To get on with the Free Beer and Hot Wings Show, have something interesting to say.
But me not being able to eat without passing out.
Or be a huge idiot.
Baker.
What Hot Wings thinks later on this hour about all of us doing our part to help repay the national debt, right, Hot Wings?
Yeah, that's right.
Is this
make sure you do your part.
Have anything? It doesn't have anything to do with GM, right? Did you hear about this deal?
No, this has nothing to do with GM.
They announced yesterday they're ready to start paying back their loan.
Yeah, they expect to, at least according to the report yesterday, they expect to have it paid back by 2011.
That's great.
Which,
they
were supposed to be
terrific.
2015.
That's great because, you hear all these people who were really, really upset by that. But they're going to pay that loan back with the necessary interest. And, I mean, this is the whole business about downsizing that company, and a lot of people lost their jobs, but the fact remains they still took this huge bailout and will pay it back.
And in the process, saved a lot of jobs that would have gone.
Yeah, I
and
mean, if that company had completely gone under, or Chrysler's too, I mean, it would have been pretty devastating.
The funny thing is, remember how bad GM and Chrysler had to beg to get their bailout, and then the banks just would kind of wink and put their hand out? And how many of those banks and those insurance companies have said, we can't pay it back. We're never going to pay it back. They immediately turned around and loaned that money out or used it to purchase other assets and everything else. And they're not paying it back. There has been a number of stories about those big financial institutions that are even if they haven't said we're not paying it back, everyone knows they're never going to pay it back.
Right.
GM, who is probably in more danger of legitimately going under and had to beg for the money and actually builds something and employs lots of people,
yes,
they're paying it back.
Yeah, exactly. So
I don't get it.
That was good news, though.
It is. Just after the top of the hour, about 40 minutes from now, Stock Car Math. Who's going first today, Zane or
I'm
Joe?
ready.
Zane is going to go?
Okay.
That's after the top of the hour.
You ready to? Oh, whatever, we'll flip a coin.
Either way. Also, a little bit later on, we got to have you guys watch a video. It's actually a guy narrating snapshots. He's a photographer who went to Antarctica to shoot photographs of a leopard seal. I think that's what it's called. And it's a pretty amazing story what happened to him when he did it. Now, I don't know about you. You guys may know a lot more about animals and about leopard seals than I did before I watched this. I would have not been able to tell you how big a leopard seal is or what its characteristics were. Is it friendly? Does it balance a red ball on its nose? I wouldn't have been able to tell you any of that.
Yeah.
Pretty vicious.
This animal.
Oh, is it?
Okay.
Yeah, and they're pretty big. I didn't realize any of this. And so he ended up face to face with one of these animals. And then what happened after that is crazy.
Huh.
So we'll get to that coming up a little bit later on. Also, people hate me because you will let you fill in the blank.
Hate you? Everybody has to call and say, well, they hate you? Is that what you're saying?
They can. That's not what I had in mind, but I suppose that would be a
Everybody, there we go.
All right. Open it up.
Be very revealing why everybody hates me.
Better have more segments open than that. That was just going to be one segment, but if it's about me, maybe a couple.
Okay.
So that's coming up a little bit later. So I was watching 60 Minutes from Sunday last night.
Yeah.
And on it, they did a profile of the guy that was a consultant for the movie Jurassic Park. And the character Alan Grant, the main paleontologist, played by Sam Neill, was based, his character traits in the movie, it was based obviously on the book that Michael Crichton had written. But it was also based largely on this guy that had been a consultant for the movie.
Okay. All right.
And they did a profile of him. And I'm not someone who has a tremendous fascination with dinosaurs.
Yeah.
I'm like, some people are really into it. But they started talking about a lot of this stuff. And Zane, you had mentioned it last week about the way the Earth was formed when you were watching that documentary.
Yep.
And they're holding these bones, which they say are 60 million years old. And he pulls out this drawer, and in it are all these T-Rex teeth that are 65 million years old. And you can say whether or not you think that's right or whatever, but
it is right.
It's hard to argue with the science, though some people would just say it's wrong, and that's fine.
Yeah,
but
they
the
say
fact
that the dating process is not accurate.
Yeah.
It's like, really? So you're just going, nuh-uh?
Yeah.
Well, and who cares if the dating, even if that's a little wrong, that's still a pretty damn big bone. That's all I know.
That's the thing.
I don't care if it's from the 1940s. That's a big ass bone.
So this guy is sort of a rebel when it comes to the way to deal with dinosaurs and learning about them.
Yeah.
He says he has no interest in preserving what they find. Like, he was the first guy to find a dinosaur egg and break it open. Every other scientist would go, how could you break it open? And he's like, I want to see what's inside. Who gets a Christmas gift and leaves it under the tree with the wrapping paper on? What's important is what's inside, having a stupid shell. And so when he found it, they discovered things that they had never known before, that they wouldn't have thought would even be preserved inside the egg. And so a variety of different things. Like, one of the things they showed on there was that the T-Rex teeth, They had all of these in a drawer, and they had a chunk of a jaw. And it turns out one tooth would grow inside of the other tooth because when they bit things, they would tear their own teeth out so often that they would lose every tooth in their mouth in the average year. That's what they were talking about.
So it's kind of like cat claws. When they always scratch and
exactly.
a whole piece comes off.
Right.
That adaptation has allowed Joe to have his teeth perpetually growing, which is why he has to gnaw on large pieces of cedar during the show.
Joe is a direct descendant of a dinosaur.
Awesome.
This guy, he teamed up with this other lady who would put the bones in acid, and it would take away all of the minerals and leave what's inside, and they essentially found capillaries and stuff that were preserved inside that they wouldn't have thought would have ever been there. They said that the theory was that nothing like that could last more than 1 million years. And it was an accepted theory. It was almost an accepted fact. And that proved that what had been in there was in there for 60 or 70 million years. And he said that it is legitimately possible, though he said it was unlikely, to do what we saw in Jurassic Park, and that is to find a bone and extract enough DNA from the inside of the bone that had been preserved there and create a dinosaur.
It's just possible.
He said it's 100% possible.
Well, what are we waiting for?
Well, he said that it's just a matter of finding the right piece, and he said he doesn't think it will happen in his lifetime.
Well,
but
that's a bad attitude.
Did say would happen in the next 5 years.
Okay.
He said we'll have a dino chicken. And this is based on the theory, and in fact, they talked to enough scientists, they said that it's barely a theory at this point, that it's pretty much
chicken dinner.
accepted as fact. And I remember teachers saying this in school, that birds are dinosaurs, or at least a descendant of dinosaurs.
Yeah, the bone structure and stuff is very similar.
Very, very similar. And he said that a chicken, for example, when a chicken is an embryo, at some point there is a gene that turns on that eliminates a tail that is there when it is first growing.
Okay.
And that when you look at a chicken's feet, it has 3 toes forward and 1 backwards, that structurally it is very similar to a dinosaur. And he believes that within the next 5 years they will be able to take some of the stuff they find within these dinosaur bones and combine it with a chicken and create what he called a dino chicken that would have a tail, and instead of feathers it would have the leathery.
Skin?
Yeah.
So how big?
Gross.
Slightly larger than the average chicken.
Don't drag the rest of us down with you like a mentally handicapped rooster. Cock-a-doodle-doo! Good night, everybody!
Wow.
But I want to see a dino chicken.
Hell yeah, man. I want to see that, and then them incorporate it into the food supply, and we'll see punting dino chicken videos then.
By the way, if somebody really did clone a dinosaur,
yeah,
even a small one, how much would you pay to see that? I would pay a lot of money to walk through and go see a dinosaur like that.
It'd have to be a little bigger, though. I'd have to see one that I can actually make a crazy, scary, reptilian-sounding monster noise.
Yeah, I agree.
And
like
then,
a T-Rex, that'd be amazing.
What if it turned out, though, that they actually did make a T-Rex, and you think it's going to sound like Godzilla, and it just goes... like it's got, it just sounds terrible.
Yeah, they didn't quite get the voice box down.
Yeah, there's not really anything cool about it.
It purrs like a house cat.
Yeah, it seems really lame.
Still, though, we could see some awesome military fights if we were able to build a few dinosaurs and just let them run rampant across, through towns like Bakersfield that we don't care about, and we just
not Baghdad,
no Bakersfield.
Suck it, Bakersfield.
And then we'll just launch a strike on them and test our military might against these beasts.
I like it. Well, that makes things next. Also, we'll get to that list of the top grossing movies for the decade, and you'll be stunned when you realize how few of them were new ideas. We'll get to that coming up next. We'll take a break. It is the Free Beer and Hotwig Show.
Fail.
Jill in Nashville. Hi, Jill.
Hey.
What do you say? Go.
I was just listening to the seance, Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, if they really were channeling Michael, how come he sounded English? He wouldn't have had that English-sounding voice.
Huh. Wait a minute. Wow, you're right. 1-800-947-3979. We'll get to what Hotwings thinks at the end of the segment about your share of the national debt, how you can help out if you choose to. Stock car math just after the top of the hour. Get another qualifier for the Cat Footwear trip for 2 to Daytona. Airfare, hotel tickets to the race, ground transportation, all taken care of. All for you.
All right.
That's coming up a little bit later on.
Excuse me.
So this list of the top grossing movies of this decade. They put it together because we're nearing the end of a decade and it's time to compile every list possible, ordering things from this decade. And this one's there. But when you do it, the people who put together this list in this article notice something very specific. Because oftentimes when new movies come out, people will say, geez, there's nothing new coming out or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, maybe there's a reason, and that's because we seem to flock to the familiar.
Yeah.
Of the top 25 grossing films from this decade, one was not a sequel or based on an established property like a book, a comic, a toy, or a Disney attraction. One.
Okay, so nobody's writing, basically.
Or at least the ones that were written and were based on something brand new didn't do well. Either they didn't get the production they deserved, the hype they deserved.
Yeah. No one's interested or no one's writing original work.
Right.
Not a lot of original screenplays.
Right.
Did that writer's strike had to do with the film industry too, right?
Yeah.
Or was it just TV?
Yeah. The only reason you didn't see films stop coming out was because there were so many scripts backlogged. It takes so long to do a movie.
I wonder if now we're getting to that point where it's just, there's a lag. I wonder if now it's manifesting.
Could be.
More.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just that maybe there are as many as there ever have been, but the ones that people want to see are, because I mean, I could think of some that were very successful films, like Cloverfield, for example. That was completely different. Wasn't, as far as I know, based on a comic book or a short story or anything like that. But it didn't make it into the top 30 grossing films for the decade. Same with like Borat was, completely different.
Well, no,
but it was based on a
TV character.
Yeah,
you're right.
So that was pretty original, but
the number one grossing film of the decade, $1,119,110,941.
Spider-Man.
Nope. Spider-Man not in the top 10. Oh no, number 11. The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King.
Okay, yeah. Well, yeah, of course, the whole Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yeah.
Those were all pre-existing books. And
all of those did very well. Number 2, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest.
Oh, God.
Was that the last one? I don't even know, because the second and third were...
I'm not sure.
...were so terrible. Like, the first one was a really fun movie.
It was a frolicking good time.
Yeah.
Or rollicking.
I mean, you could have frolicked during it.
I did
too.
frolic. So frolicking right now.
Yeah.
Number 3 was the Dark Knight. 4 was Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. 5 was Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. That was the last one.
Yeah.
And then Harry Potter, Order of the Phoenix, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, Shrek 2, DreamWorks, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, Spider-Man 3, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, Ice Age, Dawn of the Dinosaurs, sequel.
Did they really list it as for Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone? Because these people should be banned if they listed it as Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone.
What is it?
It's Sorcerer's Stone.
Let's see. I can't even find it again now. Harry Potter and the... It does. It says Philosopher's Stone.
My God.
That is absolutely what it says.
You think it's Philosopher's Stone, Howings?
That sounds familiar to me.
No, it's a Sorcerer's Stone. It wouldn't make any sense. It was Philosopher's Stone.
It wouldn't. Well, but I haven't read the books, so there might be a philosopher with a magic stone for all I know. I don't know.
Sure isn't.
Beats the hell out of me.
Can you think of what the top grossing film was that was completely new material, not based on something else?
God, yeah.
For the decade.
When you cut out sequels or things like that, God, I mean, that's Wall-E?
No, that is, there are 9 of them in the top 50, but the rest of almost all of them are near the bottom. Wall-E is the 49th biggest grossing film.
You have to see that just to see what it is that makes me hate it.
My wife loved the preview of that. We didn't go see it in the theater, and so she asked for it for Christmas last year, and I bought it for her.
Oh, you have it?
Yes.
Watch this.
She watched it. And she was excited to watch it, and had bought into the hype that it was going to be an Oscar-worthy film, and that it's a big deal. She didn't even like it.
Oh my God, this thing!
If she didn't, I mean, she found it charming at the beginning.
Yeah,
and then hated it.
So unnerving and boring and simple and retarded. Hated that movie.
All of the new works that aren't based on anything are children's films, except for 2. Hancock, which wasn't very critically acclaimed, but I enjoyed.
It was okay. It was all right.
Grossed $624 million and came in number 32 on the list. And from what I hear, there's a sequel on the way. The other one, I'm surprised. This is the 45th biggest grossing film of the decade. Now you say, well, 45th, that's pretty low, but there's a lot of films in it. There's like 1,200 releases of films a year.
There's a ton.
The Day After Tomorrow. Disaster movies.
Yeah.
Bring in big money.
Well, like that 2012 is being panned by critics, but it's going to make a boatload of money.
The stuff that was new that wasn't a sequel and wasn't anything else, Finding Nemo is the top one. And then Kung Fu Panda, The Incredibles, Ratatouille, Madagascar, Monsters, Inc., and Wall-E. Everything else, sequel.
Wow.
Sequel or comic book or book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
1-800-947-3979. Kylie joins us. Hi, Kylie. Hold on, Kylie. My fault. Hi, Kylie.
Yep. I would just like to say that it is the Sorcerer's Stone, and that completely discredits the entire list.
Because it's on there, or because they said it wrong?
Because they put it on there wrong. They don't even know the name or the title of the movie.
Actually, the movie is called Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone.
It really is the Philosopher's Stone.
I'm looking at it.
Sorcerer's Stone.
In the U.S., it's Sorcerer.
It's Sorcerer.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Kylie.
You have been steadfast, adamant, and when I brought it up the first time, you looked at me like I was nuts. I'm telling you. You looked at me like I was crazy. I read the books. I saw the movie.
Brian in New York. Hi, Brian.
Telling you what it says.
Hey, guys.
You're looking at a bad source. Hold on a second, Brian. Hold on a second. What is your source?
Wikipedia.
Does it say anything about overseas release or the United States? So I'm telling you, this movie is called The Sorcerer's Stone.
No, it's Harry Potter film series. And I'm looking at Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone.
Oh, my Christ. I'm telling you, it's not. Just stop looking. Just trust me. Give this up before you look even more retarded than you already do. Man.
Brian, you want to explain
Hey, guys.
it?
Go ahead, Brian.
I know you're probably going to rip into me for knowing this, but I just had to call and tell you guys that in the UK, when the book first came out, it was called The Philosopher's Stone.
Okay.
And when it came here to the U.S., they changed it to The Sorcerer's Stone.
Yes, I agree. You're right.
What was the name of the movie?
But it was Sorcerer's Stone in America, the USA, which is where we broadcast, which is what this goddamn list is about.
Thank you, Brian.
I don't know what this says.
Go! Balls! So pissed!
You can't argue with a website.
This is my shoe. This is my head.
Oh, God. He kicked his own head, sort of. That was a solid shot right there.
Yeah, it was. It's good.
So what? Do we have a definitive answer as to what the movie is?
Yes, we do.
What is the answer?
We already covered that.
It's the Philosopher's Stone. Says so right here.
Dave joins us. Hi, Dave.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, Dave.
I would like to take this opportunity, if you don't mind, to just shout out, "Shut up, you geeks!"
Dave, do you want to be more definitive? I mean, that's a very broad statement.
It's awesome.
That
Thank
was
you, Dave.
That was great. Zane and I might have some contention for each other on Philosopher and Sorcerer's Stone, but we agree that you're a douche.
Okay. Not everything's for Dave, apparently. He doesn't like some of the fare that we're offering on our radio program.
I only talk about things I like.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it boils down to.
Because we're so into the intricacies of the plot of what we were talking about, not just the discussion
Dave.
of what it was called.
Here's
so
what Hot Wings thinks.
yeah.
Hot Wings.
Band.
What Hot Wings thinks.
Free Beer Zane and listeners, I love this country, but God, our government really annoys me. This is the time of the year where many of us really focus on helping out those in need, the holidays, and the federal government would like you to know that they are also accepting handouts. The U.S. Treasury Department has set up a website to explain how you can easily give donations to help pay down the national debt. What? All you have to do is write a check to the Bureau of the Public Department and make a note in the memo section that it's a gift to help pay down the national debt. Oh, yeah. I want to get right on that. Screw you, food bank. Bite me, Coats for Kids. And take a hike, Toys for Tots. So I'm going to give more money to the government because I've always dreamt of being an enabler on a grand scale. Apparently, this is nothing new, as a few stupid Americans donated more than $3 million toward the federal debt last year. Who are the boobs who can't think of a better charitable cause to support than the dicks on Capitol Hill who don't know how to live within their means? Well. Hey, so far you've only come in and legally stolen about a third of my income. Please, have more. Seriously, where do I sign up? Do you take arms or legs? I got a good idea, Congress. Stop wasting money on stuff no one wants, like the 12 new F-22 Raptors that the Defense Department said they didn't need or want, but you bought anyway for $2 billion. What else are you going to buy for other departments just to pad the pockets of the companies that funded your campaigns? A-holes. Kids are hungry. I'm not giving any more money to you. Of course, they'll just raise our taxes when they want to waste more money on other useless things that help no one but their friends, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Cut out the middleman and hand over your checkbook now. No wonder people stockpile guns. Crooks. I'm Hot Wings, and that's what I think.
That's your new opinion from Hot Wings. More of the Free Beer and Hot Wings show is next. I get paid a lot of money to tell you that this is the Free Beer and Hot Wings show.
A bouncer in Birmingham hit me in the face with a crescent wrench 5 times. And my wife's boyfriend broke my jaw with a fence post. So if you don't buy a trailer from me, it ain't going to hurt my feelings.
Don't forget the sale from Saturn is here. The best deals ever on a Saturn. $4,000 total cash back on every new vehicle or 0% financing. See a dealer today. In an hour, if you haven't heard the video clip yet, or seen or heard the audio, or seen the video clip yet, we'll present to you the extremely slow but enthusiastic winner of a children's newsreader competition on the Today Show. This is one of the most delightful video clips I've seen in a long time.
You mean slow like elevator doesn't go all the way to the top slow, or just not fast moving?
It's hard to tell, but I think the second one. The
not fast moving.
Eventually, the child moves at a very normal pace. In fact, at a quite loud, exaggerated pace. But at first, do you remember the scene when Homer in The Simpsons was part of the witness protection program, and the guy said, "Your name is," and Homer wasn't getting it, and they had to, okay, when I stomp on your foot, you blink your eyes, and that'll mean you understand.
Yeah.
It's a little reminiscent of that. This child does not get it. If it was your child, you would have considered shaking it.
Yeah.
Really, you wouldn't shake the child.
Okay.
Jeez. But the kid is slow. 1-800-947-3979. You can email idiots at freebeerandhotwings.com.
Yeah, there was a dynamic in the last break of this show that made me go, what's going on? Because as soon as I said Free Beer was talking about movies in the past 10 years, all of the successful ones virtually were based on old TV shows, remakes, sequels, books, very little original work made it to.
Right.
And then he mentioned the Harry Potter series, and he said Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. I corrected him. That movie is called Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Right away, Hot Wings had this. I knew there was trouble. I knew he thought something didn't jive. And I don't know how he got the notion, but he raised an eyebrow, and I could hear. He's starting to go to the computer. I'm like, what are you going to? You don't even go to the computer. I know what the title of that movie is. You don't.
Yeah.
oh, it's her, it's Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Yeah, well, you're looking in the wrong spot, apparently. Yeah. And I ask you, if I'm in the United States of America and I wanted to go see that film back in 2000 and whatever, what would it say on the sign?
According to Wikipedia.
No.
I don't remember.
A theater in Boise.
I'm not sure. I wasn't in Boise.
You do too. You're smiling. You're laughing at me. You're just trying to make me look stupid.
No, I've never been to a theater in Boise. So.
I'm telling you.
I don't know.
You're not. If I go to a bookstore
in
the United States, let's say, and on the shelf back in when that book came out, even right now,
Yeah.
what is it going to say on the cover?
Not sure.
I am. Because, first of all, I saw the film, and it said, I remember the movie poster, in whatever year it was, it said Sorcerer's Stone. And I have the book, it says Sorcerer's Stone.
Here, the cover of this DVD says The Philosopher's Stone.
Okay, well, you're looking in a bad spot. And I think we need to look no further than this clip right here to know how much of a fan I am for Harry Potter.
Did you? I mean, you're reading the books, did you?
Yeah, I'm reading the last book. And I'm reading the second book. I have gotten an erection from reading the Harry Potter books, not in an unexplained fashion. I never once for a second thought that I would somehow be the target of inexplicable boners based on Dumbledore's interactions with Harry. But I am reading those books, and I have gotten an erection thinking about Harry penis. That is completely edited. Joe, I can't believe you set me up. Joe sent me a clip, and he said, play this. It validates your argument. It shows that you know. And sure enough, this C-punch. Everybody in this room is conspiring against me on this deal. But I am reading those books, and I have gotten an erection thinking about Harry penis. You took penis and Harry from Harry Potter, and penis from whatever I was talking about.
Harry Potter.
No.
I don't know, man. It's an old clip. I don't remember.
Oh, yeah, it's all foggy, isn't it? You can hear the edits. Harry penis.
I can hear your voice.
But I am reading those books, and I have gotten an erection thinking about Harry penis. I can hear the edit points.
You said I didn't hear an edit between Harry or penis.
Are you kidding me? But I am reading those books, and I have gotten an erection. Right there. Gotten an erection. The voice inflection is way different than the first sentence. But I am reading those books, and I have gotten an erection thinking about Harry penis. Oh.
Well, just play Harry penis. I don't hear an edit between Harry or penis. Clearly, that's what you were thinking about.
Harry penis.
See?
Yeah.
Harry penis. No.
Maybe if you say it now for comparison.
No, I'm not saying anything, man. Screw this show.
I thought you were going to say a different word.
Well, I stand corrected. I believe you now.
Oh, thanks.
Because you clearly do know
thanks.
quite a lot about Harry Potter.
Right.
Harry knocked. "Come in," said Dumbledore's voice. "Good evening, sir," said Harry, walking into the headmaster's
Harry
office.
penis.
"Sit down," said Dumbledore,
Harry
smiling.
penis.
"You have been wondering, I am sure, what I have planned for you during these, for want of a better word, lessons.
Harry
Listen.
penis.
I wonder whether you noticed. I have no wand at the moment, but I thought you might have the mouth organ or something," said Harry, looking around. "Naturally I do," said Dumbledore. "Now is not the moment for that, Harry. Not yet."
I forgot about the books on tape.
Harry penis.
A lot more homoerotic than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
I hate it when the show makes these weird turns like this.
Just talking about movies. If you want to be a contestant for Stock Car Math, we need two of them right now at 1-800-947-3979. If you are one of those two contestants, you have the first chance at answering this question.
I got it, Joe. I'll do it.
Answer this question correctly, and you're qualified. You're one of the qualifiers that has a chance to win the trip for two to Daytona with our friends from Cat Footwear. Tickets to the race in the infield in the Cat Footwear RV. That's where you'll watch it. Food, drinks provided all day long.
Jeff Burton, second place that last race.
Yep.
He says could have won that race, and says that they just did a crew shakeup or something like that, and they said that's going to help him.
I think so. He had high hopes coming into the season after signing with Richard Childress.
Yeah.
So tickets to the race, airfare, hotel, all included. Meet our contestants. Zane has the Stock Car Math trivia question. This question. Story problem.
Yes.
Numbers replaced by drivers' names. The answer will be a driver's name. The question for everyone else is, will our contestants forget that and shout out a number like they have about 50% of the time?
Yeah, I believe that.
Let's meet our contestants. Richard, listening on Q103. Hi, Richard.
Hi, how are you?
Good. And Chris, listening on 97.9 GRD. Hi, Chris.
Hey, how's it going?
Great. Richard and Chris, buzz in by saying your name when you think you know what the answer is. You get one guess within 30 seconds of Zane finishing reading it the first time.
How do you say... Well, I'll tell you what, after I say it, correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
How to say somebody's name. Because I don't know some of the drivers' names, how to pronounce them.
Okay.
All right, Richard and Chris, here we go. You guys ready?
Yep.
Okay. Here is your problem. Stock car math. Almost said it. At one point, while on Oprah yesterday, Sarah Palin utters David Stremme consecutive sentences in her folksy style. For every Kurt Busch of these stupid-sounding ramblings, Oprah rolls her eyes, Mark Martin minus Martin Truex Jr. times. How many times total does Oprah roll her eyes while this dumb bitch talks? Chris.
Eric Amarola.
Oh, how did you do that? I always hate it when the wrong answer comes, because then you think you have the wrong math.
Mm-hmm.
That's not right.
Is that what you got?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm validated because Hot Wings got my answer correct. Okay, no, it's not Eric Amarola.
Okay,
Rich.
How about David Reagan?
Did you guys know the numbers when we went into this? Because you couldn't be more wrong.
Thank you, fellas. 1-800-947-3979. Maybe read it again.
At one point, while on the Oprah Winfrey Show, Sarah Palin utters David Stremme consecutive sentences in her folksy style. For every Kurt Busch of these stupid-sounding ramblings, Oprah rolls her eyes, Mark Martin minus Martin Truex Jr. times. How many times total does Oprah roll her eyes at this dumb bitch?
Ryan. Nope. Hi, Rob.
Hi.
Hold on.
Rob, turn your radio up, okay? Hey, Rob?
Yeah.
Nope. Hi, Brad.
Hey.
What's the answer?
Is it Max Pappas?
Did you say Max Pappas?
Yeah.
Well, guess what?
Good?
Yeah, guess what?
What?
You're not even close.
No, not even close.
No.
Zach in New York. Hi, Zach.
How you doing?
Great.
Jimmy Johnson.
No, that's not right.
Now, we're not gifted at math.
No, and I'm not even gifted at drivers.
I had to look up a couple numbers.
Okay.
I normally know most. I did not know David Stremme, which
Maybe
threw off
that's
everything.
what's throwing everybody off here. Okay.
This is Brian. Hi, Brian.
Morning, guys.
Hey, Brian.
Who is it?
Jeff Gordon.
All right.
That's the one.
Yes.
There you go.
Well done.
Brian,
Sweet.
Yep.
you may be joining us in Daytona for the big race from Cat Footwear.
We're going to have a good time.
We're going to party with Cherry Slush.
Yep. Yeah, that's appearing in the at Turn 3 at Club 3.
Yep.
Will be Cherry Slush.
That's right.
We got confirmation of them actually appearing. The band is getting together for the race.
Zane, how did the math work on your question? Because I'm sure there's some people that are confused.
Sarah Palin utters David Stremme consecutive sentences in her folksy style. That would be 12. For every Kurt Busch, 2 of these stupid-sounding ramblings, that would be every 2 of those 12.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little division there.
Mm-hmm.
Oprah rolls her eyes, Mark Martin minus Martin Truex Jr. times. That would be 4 times for every 2 sentences.
Mm-hmm.
So you just do a multiplication problem at that point.
Mm-hmm.
6 times 4 is 24.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah,
Easy.
pretty simple.
The wording is what always got people on story problems when I was in school, and clearly that is still the case.
Truly.
My gosh.
Brian
Man.
is qualified. He could join us in Daytona. You're going to have until Monday, November 30th, so the rest of this week, the 3 days next week that we are on, And then that following Monday, and then that same day, near the end of the show, we will do the drawing, and that person will join us in Daytona for the big race.
Yeah.
That's going to be pretty awesome.
Sweet.
Hairy penis.
Enough.
In a moment, what is it like to be face-to-face with a leopard seal? This photographer for National Geographic went to Antarctica because he wanted to photograph this somewhat rare animal. And just seeing the picture of this animal, let me show you just a look at its face, because you guys don't really... Have you looked at one?
No.
I've not seen a leopard seal.
I can't look at Hot Wings' computer. He's too busy looking up stupid things that he's wrong about.
Wow.
That's what its face looks like. You can see some...
man, yeah, when it's really up close, it's got some serious teeth.
Some really big, massive teeth. In fact, it looks reminiscent of a bear or a tiger with the sharp canine teeth and everything like that. Mm-hmm. And apparently they're very vicious.
I believe it.
And so his camera, you'll see photographs where his camera is up to his face, not like it's on a arm or something like that, is 3 or 4 inches from the mouth of this crazy beast in the almost frozen waters of Antarctica.
All right.
And wait till you hear what happens in the interaction with this animal. We'll get to that next. We'll take a break. It is the Free Beer and Hot Wings Show.
Email the show, idiots@freebeerandhotwings.com. Fail.
The guy that I work out with is super hardcore. He used to work out in L.A., even has a mohawk, so I can't wait.
I met Lance Mohawk on Friday. It was like meeting a celebrity.
Was he at the hockey game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep. It's funny, Hot Wings, he had come as your guest, he and his buddy, and he was sitting near you. Mm-hmm. And a number of people were talking to me, including every intern who's ever been on the show and drinks beer, because they were all drunk and around me, and around all of us.
Yeah.
And at one point, somebody, sort of a friend of a friend, looks over and goes, "That guy with the mohawk, is that Lance Mohawk?" And I thought they were going to go ask for an autograph. They were that genuinely excited by it.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. All you have to do is say who they are on this show, and somehow they achieve some status. That's like Kurt Busch. He goes and gets free Pokemon cards still to this day. Our former intern, Kurt Busch. I don't even know his real name, but he looked like Kurt Busch to me. He really does, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Current intern, Dr. Rob, I was told by his friends that he's using the "Don't You Know Who I Am" to get drinks.
Really?
And that they use it for him.
Well, then I'm not going to feel bad. He uses that?
That's what I was told.
Well, then I'm not going to feel bad to say that I hope he uses it to get some frickin' Clearasil. Good God, mixing a Stridex once or twice a month.
The attack is on.
Yeah, he was.
Look at my zit beard.
He was very drunk.
He was very drunk.
Most of them were drunk, like you said. Most of the interns were drunk. Mm-hmm. A lot of embarrassing behaviors from the interns.
Mm-hmm.
I will not single out anything specifically, but you know who you are.
Maybe someday.
Yeah.
1-800-947.
That's awesome.
3979. You could email idiots@freebeerandhotwings.com. So this video has been making its way around the internet. I had seen the headline for it a number of times on different news aggregator websites like Dig or whatever. And it's a National Geographic photographer who was in Antarctica to capture shots of leopard seals. And what a crazy job that is, by the way, just going out and being near animals. In this case, he basically was with this leopard seal for a series of days. And these are, I wouldn't have known this before I read it this morning. They're a very deadly animal. They're massive and aggressive. And it shows that in this story. Listen to him describing, and Hot Wings and Zane, and you can see this in cool links at freebeerandhotwings.com, so you can read the article as well. You'll see some of the photographs he took, which are really amazing photographs, but his story, with or without the photographs, is pretty wild.
My name is Paul Nicklin, and I'm a contributing photographer for National Geographic magazine. I wanted to go down to Antarctica and get in the water with as many leopard seals as I could.
Get in the water.
Up in the Zodiac, and we saw this massive leopard seal. My guide, Yudon, has a lot of experience with them. He said, "Bloody hell, that's the biggest leopard seal I've ever seen. Time to get in the water, yeah." I slipped into the water, terrified of what might happen, and I swam up to this leopard seal. My legs were shaking, and I had dry mouth. And
Wow,
right
look at
away,
the
she
size
dropped
of
the penguin. She came up to me, and she opened her mouth, and her head's twice as wide as a grizzly bear's head. She's huge. She took my whole head and camera inside her mouth and did these threat displays. But then the most amazing thing happened. She went off and got me a live penguin. She came up and she started to feed me a penguin. And she kept letting these live penguins go. And the penguin would shoot past me, and she would look disgusted as she'd go by me. And she did this over and over. And then I think she realized...
So basically, it's going and gets a live penguin, doesn't kill the penguin.
Right.
Gives it to what she thinks is some...
like a baby leopard seal of some sort.
Feed dude in scuba gear. And he's like, I don't know what to do with it. And then so the penguin and swims away like, boy.
And then the leopard seal's like, what is your deal?
So, and he looks disgusted, he says.
This story is, at the same time, amazing and terrible because I love penguins. Penguins are great, and I don't like that they're being captured in the crazy jaws of this monster leopard seal, but the fact that they're, for the most part, swimming away. But just the fact that he's in the water, and when the photographs they showed during this clip that you can see at freebeerandhotwings.com and cool links, I mean, when you see the perspective, this animal is, would you say, fair to say, 3 times his size?
Yeah, it's massive. They're a big
massive.
beast. Looks like a prehistoric seal is what it looks like. If there was such a thing as a saber-toothed seal, that would be it.
It could tear him apart in moments. I don't know how he could live through an attack.
There was one of these in the film Happy Feet. There's that reference again.
Mm-hmm.
There was actually in it. Big, gigantic, mean-ass thing.
Yeah.
And that's because I had never seen one of these, and when you brought it up, I had never seen one. And then when I saw it in this piece, I go, oh, that's the same thing from that damn movie I was watching with my kids.
Yeah.
And its eyes are black as coal. It looks pissed all the time.
It does, yeah. Because usually you picture seals as adorable animals.
Right.
But
this thing is like a regular seal on steroids.
Yeah,
it's like the Brock Lesnar.
It is a big beast.
Seals. Like something you'd see in a Lucas film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
And you even see the still image inside of this thing's mouth.
Yeah.
But that before it put his head in its mouth.
Oof. She did this over and over. And then I think she realized that I was this useless predator in her ocean, probably going to starve to death. And I think she became quite panicked, and she started to bring me weak penguins, then dead penguins. Then she showed me how to eat the penguins. She would offer me partially consumed penguins.
Wow.
She started to take penguins and actually push them into my camera. I think she thought the camera was my mouth, which is every photographer's dream. This went on for 4 days. So here I came to
4 days
to photograph this potentially vicious animal, to have this predator, this top predator in Antarctica, take care of me and nurture me and feed me for 4 days straight. It was the most incredible experience I've ever had as a National Geographic photographer.
I wonder how he wrapped it up. Well, I got to go. And I got pissed off and bit off his leg.
All right. See ya.
The fact that it started trying to feed him.
Oh, man.
That's amazing.
That is something. God, you've got to see this video because he's got the pictures that go along exactly with what he was describing to you.
The photographs are amazing. I mean, that's one thing National Geographic, they're photographers. They
love that channel, man.
They're amazing.
Yeah,
like the photos of that creature when it's just like there's one where it's just its face and its head, and the backdrop is all of the bluish green water around it. I mean, it's actually an amazing photo. But the fact that that's and unfortunately the image, he also has photographs of it tearing penguins in pieces to jam in his mouth. Yeah, that's a little sad, but it happens in nature.
There's lots of penguins.
There are. Clearly, they were everywhere.
True, yeah. I mean, there are a ton of them.
It clearly brought him all variety of penguins. Oh, you don't like this one? Let me go get you a half-dead one.
Let me get you a half-dead one. It has to, seek it out. Oh, God, where's a half-dead one? Oh, he looks half-dead.
Oh, yeah.
I'll get him.
He's slow as hell.
Yeah, this big, stupid, slow penguin. I'll go give this to him. Maybe he'll like this. I'm going to make this guy my friend no matter what. So he had to break this beast's heart when he left.
The idea that when he came back the next day, because obviously he's in Antarctica. He can't be in the water for extended period of time. It's probably a very short period of time. So then he comes back and it goes, oh, there you are again. You still don't know how to eat, stupid.
Right.
All right, more penguins.
Okay.
The penguins got to be like, get out of here. You're killing us. God.
I would have been debating, boy, I don't want to test fate again because I don't want this this monster to get pissed off at me because I'm not getting it and bite my throat out.
And go, well, the only way I'm going to need to mercy kill you.
Yeah. All of a sudden it sees you as weak and it decides to kill you. Absolutely. I cannot imagine just being that up close and personal with something like that.
Awesome. I wonder how long he can stay in the water if there's some type of heat deal on that suit.
I was wondering the same thing. I was actually looking back at it and going, I wonder if he has any exposed, no exposed skin. I mean, he is completely covered. But, I wonder if there's some sort of, like heating coils that run through the suit.
Special suit.
Because, I mean, the water temperature has got to be about 33.
Yeah.
I'm guessing. In Antarctica.
Greg joins us. Hi, Greg.
Hey, what's up?
Not much.
I heard you all talking about the seal. I just got off work, so I caught the tail end of it. But when I was in the Marine Corps and I was stationed in San Diego, and a bunch of us were going to go to Monterey, California, and go diving in the kelp fields.
Yeah.
And I went up there, and the guy who was selling the tanks, where you go scuba diving, I had a black wetsuit, and he goes, "You ain't going to wear that in there, are you?" And I was like, "Yeah." I didn't understand why. I'd never been, scuba diving down there. And he said, "No, you can't wear that." I thought at first, because of the great white sharks there mistaking me as a seal.
Yeah.
He said, no. He goes, it's mating seasons for the seals, and you will get raped by a seal.
There's nothing worse than seal rape.
I'm sorry, I've done some ugly women in my life, but a seal, I'm sorry, I couldn't do it.
That's where you draw the line.
I am going.
That's for sure. Thank you, Greg.
Yep.
I had no idea. I guess you wouldn't know if you didn't go there all the time.
Yeah, you'd never really think about it.
Yeah.
Seal rape, not high on the radar.
Hot Wings, when you were in San Francisco, did you see those seals by Fisherman's Wharf?
No, we did not.
Holy cow, dude. Right about the time that earthquake took place, for some reason, there's this place called Seal Rock.
Yeah.
Right near that place where that woman was a drowning victim that my wife had to rescue out of the water. Right near there, there's a place called Seal Rock. 3,000 seals are there. Big, small. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Did not see that.
For some reason, right around the time of that earthquake, they decided to migrate to one of the piers.
Oh.
And so there's all these docks.
Oh, I've seen video of that before.
There's a picture of it. And there's like 15, 20 docks, and they just lay out there. I'll just fatten all over everything.
It's a sweet gig.
And when it took place at first, these fat-ass seals would go to this, and all these people used to have boats there.
Yeah.
And they'd go flop on people's boat and eat their lines, eat everything. The seals were a disaster. They ended up having to take all the boats out of the pier.
They just moved out.
They just said, we give up, because these fat-ass seals would come and just fat all over everything. And they're still there. There's
that's
hilarious.
Of them
They
became squatters.
That's exactly what they did, and they don't know why.
That's hilarious.
They decided to move in.
It's pretty sweet. In a moment, we'll try out this phone topic. It's sort of your chance to brag. Because there are sometimes people will hate you for a variety of reasons. And there's always the theory of, do people that are hated know they're hated? Or is it just in their head? Maybe you're not hated and you think people hate you. We'll ask you to finish this sentence. If you could line up early, that would be great at 1-800-947-3979. Finish the sentence. People hate me because. We'll take a break. It is the Free Beer and Hot Wings Show.
I get paid a lot of money to tell you that this is the Free Beer and Hot Wings Show.
A bouncer in Birmingham hit me in the face with a crescent wrench 5 times. And my wife's boyfriend broke my jaw with a fence post. So if you don't buy a trailer from me, it ain't going to hurt my feelings.
You can check out the website, freebeerandhotwings.com. There you can see that video in the cool link section of the photographer face-to-face with the leopard seal. That's pretty amazing. There's a number of other new videos up there as well, including one we're going to get to later of a news story about a little boy inside a washing machine.
Okay.
It's a crazy story.
Uh-huh.
That's coming up a little bit later on. All right. Another round of stock car math on the way as well with the important note about that as well. Meanwhile, I said that in this next segment, currently, we just ask you to finish this sentence. People hate me because of blank. Okay? It could be a variety of reasons. Sometimes it's in your head, and other times it may be a genuine reason, whatever it might be.
Okay.
Start with Luke in Nashville. Hi, Luke.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Do you think people hate you?
Yes, or some do.
Yeah.
Why do they hate you, Luke?
Because I'm an a-hole.
Oh,
well, I mean,
so generally you have a poor disposition.
Oh, no, it's not that. I think I'm very opinionated, and I don't have a filter, and I don't have a tolerance for stupid people or things.
Yep.
So I just say whatever comes to my mind, and people kind of look at me like, you know what, you should kind of pump the brakes on that. And, be a little bit nicer and a little bit more courteous, but that's not in me. So
okay.
And,
well, you know what is, okay, so let's say you're at line at a store, you're getting gas or whatever, and you stop in to get something to drink, and someone is doing something you don't like.
Like if they buy a lottery ticket and scratch it off before they move out of line?
You're going to say something no matter what.
Yes.
I respect you for that.
I'll kind of huff, like, but then if it gets out of hand, I'll be like, come on, and then if they look at me weird, I'm sure I'm not going to be the only person in line, so I'll be like, well, you're holding up everybody.
Now, has anybody ever punched you or anything?
No, I'm a very imposing-looking guy. I'm 6'3", about 260.
Okay.
So
yeah, you can afford it.
I have been punched several times. I was in the Marine Corps.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in my fair share of fights. I've been punched several times, but not for being an a-hole.
You know what? You know what you should do one time? Pardon me.
I've been slapped by girls for being an a-hole.
Well, that's okay. Now, you should at one point just try, like wake up one morning and say, I'm going to always be the way I am, but for this day, I'm going to be as polite and sweet and just to try it, and I'll bet you at least once it'll be fun.
You're right. And I'm very polite and sweet. It's just
I know, but you're gonna
all at the same time. It's just weird. I'm sorry.
Luke, when you're doing it, like when you're being an a-hole, is there a part of it in your brain that says you're doing it right now, and the other part of your brain that says, so what? Keep going.
Kind of, yes. It just happens.
I do that too. I can relate to what you're saying. Absolutely.
It's like breathing. It's just it's nothing I have control over. It just happens.
It comes very natural.
Yeah.
Thank you, Luke.
Yes, sir.
He's probably right. There probably are people that don't like him for that reason. There are probably other people who cherish him because...
Probably. I mean, I guess if you're not somebody who often deserves it and doesn't fall in his crosshairs very often, then it wouldn't be a big deal.
I'll tell you, when I would love him is if I'm guy in line who doesn't want to say something and he says something to jerk holding me up. Then I'm like, yeah, I like that guy.
That's a thing. I know I've done that in lines and grocery stores and stuff before, where you just go... And like you kind of want them to hear you. I've never just out and out confronted somebody. I don't think, but like where you want them to hear you want them to know that you're annoyed, that they're stupid.
I can be very rude, and I was rude yesterday in the break room. You were witness to that. That was awful.
Yeah, that was true.
Terrible thing.
That was true.
I couldn't. When I answered that question, which I'll tell you with the question. When I answered the question, I'll tell you the question too. To me, it would have been worse to hem and haw and dance around that.
A question was asked that you will tell that somebody was asking for an answer, and you gave them one.
We've had played a old bit on the air recently, and in it I made some crack about only guys are good at radio, some stupid benign or not so benign, offensive crack like that.
Yeah.
And of course, dealing in generalizations, as I always do, in blanket absurd statements, not far from the norm at any point.
Right.
But where she got into trouble was to delve further. She approached me and with a lot of balls and nerves said, so Zane, I understand you think that women aren't good at radio. And I paused. I said, well, let me clarify that. I was referring to just generally morning radio. You don't see many people doing it, so yes, many women leading shows.
Yeah.
It's rare, so my assumption is they're not good at it. And I've worked with a few, and I've seen enough, and I've heard enough to know that that is true.
You could find exceptions to that.
Of course.
But
in many cases, that's pretty true. I mean, it is a male-dominated type of thing.
I responded in truth. That's how I felt. And she said, huh. Well, I was on so-and-so station for 1 year in town here doing mornings. And I paused, and I said, well, you're not doing that now, so you couldn't have been any good.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Hollings put his head down and just shook his head. He was crawling out of his skin. She goes, oh, my my God, you are so rude.
Now the thing is, you actually undertold it because she didn't say it as a statement. She said it as a question, which was, well, what about the year I spent on that morning show across town? And that's when you because she actually asked a question, so then you had to answer, which is when you said, well, you must not have been that good because you ain't doing it now.
Was this playful?
It was, yeah. I don't think it was. I think it started off as, I think she was trying to needle Zane, and he was in the middle of eating 18 gallons of spinach.
Yeah.
And
I was eating a salad, of course.
Yeah, you were eating a salad, and
don't mess with me, and I'm eating
now
a salad.
Now, Zane, you said you think it's better that you answered that way.
Well,
you really believe
other
that?
Other than being a kind of a worm about it, I mean, at least she knows where I stand on the thing.
But couldn't have you? It would have been.
Doesn't make her a bad person. It's just she's not good at mornings, apparently.
Well, I don't know. I mean, we've all been let go of jobs. I mean,
I know, but the basis for my argument was.
I mean, in the end, you're going to answer however you want, and I'm not trying to tell you how to answer.
The basis of my argument was, well, you know, there's so few, and it's clear there isn't many, and here's why. And I've dealt with women, and there's in morning radio, and it has been an issue in the past, and there's not a tremendous history of success regarding it. Of course, there are exceptions, but generally, it's a man's game, and that's the way it's been until I hear differently. That's just the way it is. So I was using that as the basis for my argument. So it turned out it looked terrible. So now I'm hated because of that.
Why she felt the need to further push, what about me? That I don't understand that. But
well, yeah, that was short-sighted.
Well, it wouldn't have been. Yeah. I mean, you could have just said. I mean, it's easy in hindsight. Just said, well, I never heard you, so I don't know. But as a general rule,
yeah, but that would be weaselly. I mean, why not just?
That wouldn't be weaselly. It would have been the truth. Did you?
No,
you had never heard her.
For me, in my opinion, it would be handling it in a. Sidestepping
in a non-a-hole way.
Being diplomatic about it.
Sidestepping it is kind of like, it's so much easier if I just tell her what the hell
it would have been. Had you heard her?
Say what?
Had you heard her on the air?
No.
So it would have been the truth. It wouldn't have been. You wouldn't have been lying.
No, you're right. But I didn't think of that.
I mean, either way, I mean, she. It's not like she's never met you before. She when she approaches you, she knows what you've said in the first place. So you kind of get what you get.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It would have been funny though if I said, "Well, I haven't heard," and then the next day she comes up with like a CD or sends me an MP3. Check this out, and then I have to listen to it and then give her a critique.
Cool.
Yeah, so you did kind of nip that in the bud.
Yeah.
Took care of that.
Yeah, you ain't any good.
Yeah, exactly. You chopped off the head of the serpent right there.
Yeah, that's enough out of you.
You will not be healing.
Prove me wrong.
1-800-947-3979. Call us if you know you are hated and tell us why. Anthony, you think you're hated?
How's it going, guys?
Good. Anthony, you think you're hated?
Yeah. My whole entire family is a bunch of military veterans.
Yeah.
I spent 5 years in the Army myself, and I'm a huge believer in understanding history and where things come from and why they are. So I'm a huge veteran. I'm a huge supporter of the vets. I hate our newer generation and the way there's such Fox, NBC, and all these different liberal news channels that trash our current foreign wars. And you've got these 18, 19-year-old naive idiots spouting off at the mouth with no understanding of why we're there or what freedoms we have and where they come from.
Raise your hand if you hate them.
So I kind of hate them
because people hate you because of the way you tell a story.
Yeah, because we said, why do people hate you? And you're telling us why you hate other people.
Yeah, you see... Do you find people's eyes fade from you when you're talking to them because you've been doing one run-on sentence and you're really annoying with your whimsical namby-pamby style of speaking, and it's taking you forever to get to the point.
Your opinion may be right or wrong. I'm not debating that, but it'd be like if we said, "Hey, do you want a slice of pizza?" and you told me what kind of cake you like.
Yeah, you see, you're not cutting to the chase, and that's why you're not getting laid.
Chase?
No.
To say this is I hate people who trash.
But that wasn't the question,
Right,
dummy.
but why
We
do
said,
people-
why
yeah,
do people
well-
hate you? Because you can't answer questions.
Because you can't follow directions. That's why.
That's why everybody hates you, you stupid jackass.
We could do 5 hours a day on why someone hates someone else.
Yeah, it's easy to come up with reasons why I hate other people. It's harder
Right.
when I'm thinking about myself.
I am so
look
full
inward.
of anxiety now after hearing his stupid voice. God,
Should have been able to see us in the room as we were
Jackass.
listening, and just kind of all of our heads kept sinking down slightly as we were trying to figure out where he was going.
And I know there are people who say, you guys are too hard on callers. We try to give that guy benefit of the doubt. We let him go for a while. But I guarantee there were people yelling at the radio saying the same thing we were thinking.
He wasn't answering the question we were asking. Why do people hate you? Not why do you hate kids today?
Stupid jackass.
Kelsey joins us. Hi, Kelsey.
Hi, unlike that other guy, I do really have a reason why people hate me.
Okay, why do people hate you?
Because at my work, I am kind of have to be a snitch. I work at a restaurant where we don't have a manager currently, and my mom is engaged to the owner, and I've worked there for like 6 years. So when people are stealing food or have their buddies up at the bar drinking for free, they always come to me and ask me to snitch on everybody else. And there's nobody really else it could be, so everybody hates me at work.
So everyone knows it's you.
Oh,
Why
yeah.
do they do it then?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah,
if they knew that you were the snitch, they would they'd treat you like try to keep you in the dark as much as possible.
They're just stupid, I think.
It seems like
I think so.
It seems like
that last guy works there.
And you can't be mad at someone for snitching on you for doing something wrong. I hate that girl. She won't let me steal from her family. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
that
way
last
to go.
Guy, that last guy drove me crazy. I'm still not over him. I am not over that. That guy really affected me.
See, that's the guy who deserves your over-the-top, blunted honesty like that.
I'm glad
That guy's
he
got it coming.
Now, I doubt he has seen the light based on the beat-up that he took, but Jesus, man, you suck. You are terrible.
Not only did you just get told you suck, it was after another call that should have dulled the sense
I
to it.
don't remember the one after it.
But the fact of the matter is, you were so bad at it.
Did you hear that guy?
Yeah.
Terrible.
Jason in Indiana. Hi, Jason.
Hey, guys.
Hey. People hate you?
People hate me because I fart and blame it on other people.
You do? Like in public?
Sound like Mitch Hedberg. Hey. All right. Thank you.
All right. I think Jason called because open mic night just got closed at the Coffee Cabaret. And he needed someplace to work out material.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think it's about 50-50 on this.
I enjoyed the segment. I enjoyed getting upset. When I get angry, I feel a great release. The pleasure spots in my brain are fulfilled. That's why it's addictive to me. When I get pissed, I feel good.
Right.
So you like it when we make fun of you and make you mad?
No, I like my lashing out. I don't like when I get mad and it becomes when I
like to be on the offensive.
If I'm defensive angry, I don't like that at all. But if I'm blurting out and hitting my head with a shoe and whatever, that makes me feel good. I enjoy that. But I don't like, I don't like taking it and being quiet.
I'm so angry.
That's true.
I got the sense that was the case.
Yeah.
But I thought we could talk you into something there for a moment. In a moment, Kathy Lee Gifford does not like being made fun of. I think a lot of people wondered how long this was going to take. And
yeah.
She finally lashed out, speaking of that, yesterday on the Today Show in a very passive-aggressive manner. We'll share that with you next. We'll take a break. It is the Free Beer and Hot Wings Show.
To get on with the Free Beer and Hot Wings Show, have something interesting to say.
You got served. It's peanuts.
Or be a huge idiot.
1-800-947-3979. You can email idiots at freebeerandhotwings.com. In headlines coming up, the death of, I don't know if you could call him an MTV icon, but certainly a pretty big show that a lot of people remember. A host of that show. We'll talk about him. And also, I can't wait. We could watch this clip 20 times during the headlines break, and I would be okay. Of the slow but enthusiastic winner girl from the Today Show yesterday.
Was it? Okay.
And when I say slow, I mean her reaction to the news that she was victorious is slow.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where they say it to her a couple of times.
Okay.
Al Roker looks like he wants to take the microphone and hit her in the head with it.
Really?
Yes.
Sweet.
And then she goes crazy.
Okay.
Absolutely crazy.
I love this. The way you're
I do
selling it is
too. I'm
perfect.
very excited.
Sarah Palin was on Oprah yesterday. We'll get to that clip coming up later on this hour, and we'll get to what Hot Wings thinks. So lots of stuff on the way. But Saturday Night Live has been doing a Hot Wings. In your commentary yesterday, you talked about how bad Saturday Night Live was. And
Yeah.
I typically will record it and watch it sometime Sunday morning, a lot of times while I eat breakfast. And the sketches that I like, I'll watch, and the ones that I don't like, I think probably a lot of people do, I'll fast forward through it. Like I give it a little while, and once I realize it's a snooze, hit the fast forward button, and if I miss something, then I know the internet will buzz about it and I can see it later.
Right.
There's one sketch, the first few times they did it last year, that was a big hit. Kristen Wiig, who apparently is their MVP because she's in every sketch to the point where she actually gets annoying.
Yeah.
But she does a very good Kathy Lee Gifford impression. And Kathy Lee Gifford is kind of hated, so making fun of her is win-win.
Yeah.
And
I remember when they started doing this, and I remember sitting in this chair saying, I'll bet you she's going to hate that. It was the first time she did it. And then right away, they didn't. She didn't appear bothered by it.
Yeah, they kept playing the clips on the Today Show
On the show.
following Monday.
With her little scoop show with
Yeah.
Ada Cotby. Is that right?
Hoda Kotb.
Hoda Kotb.
And so they brought it back this past Saturday.
Okay.
And the gist of the bit on SNL, if you've never seen it, is fake Kathy Lee Gifford is always mugging for the camera and sticking her tongue out and saying things that don't make sense and making old references and talking about Frank, her husband, Frank Gifford, and always making fun of Hoda Kotb for being boring, uninteresting, smelling like Egyptian food. And
well, that sounds funny to me.
It was really funny the first few times. Saturday night, it was on that show, it was one of their better things.
It was one of the better. It's gotten a little stale because it's always the same jokes.
Right.
Now. You know, I mean, you can only go so far with it, but whatever.
Well, yesterday they showed it again on the last hour of the Today Show. They'll show that clip, and then Hoda and Kathy Lee, as Zane referenced, will watch the show. And this time Kathy Lee, she doesn't come out and say, well, she says a lot of things, but it all seems very passive-aggressive. And in the sketch, specifically on Saturday night, Kristen Wiig was singing a song inspired by Kathy Lee Gifford called Everyone Has a Story, and then she's knocked out by the Black Eyed Peas that were also a guest on the show. That's the bit. And so then they all beat on Kathy Lee in the sketch on SNL. It's all very cartoonish.
Okay. All right. That's where we pick it up, right?
Yep.
Everyone has a story. Everyone has a headache.
Everyone has a headache. Fergie punched her a good one.
Sounded like they're piped in. Oh, they're making fun of her music. I don't want to do that.
She pops up with a wine bottle. Keeps singing.
Got the bottle of wine. Hello. And we left out the part where they talked about my story. What?
Okay, so now they're back, right?
Yes, and so first you hear Kathy Lee say, oh, got the wine bottle, and she has a look on her face that says, I don't, you know that look, everybody's seen someone get that look on their face where they're kind of laughing, but you know they don't think it's funny.
Is that part of something about her past? Does she have the thirst, or did she have the thirst?
I'm not sure. They've just always portrayed it that way on that sketch on SNL.
Okay.
But I don't know of anything historically that's made that true.
Got the part where they talked about my story. What? Hoda's story is boring.
Well,
that's what they said.
That's just because they don't know your real story.
Know.
They have no idea.
Anyway,
I don't know. Everybody seems to enjoy it. I personally.
What do you think?
I don't think it's. I don't know.
What do you
And the one who said I don't know, is that Kathy Lee?
That's Kathy Lee.
Because I'm having a hard time deciphering who's who. But if that's her, I'll make that note.
I don't think it's. I don't know.
What do you think?
I don't think it's that funny.
She can sing, Chris.
No, I'm sorry.
She can sing.
Oh, it's okay to beat the crud out of me. That's fine, but when I say I'm sorry, the woman can't sing, that's a problem with you people.
I think if you would have heard her singing the whole thing, she can kind of sing, I think.
I'm just saying. Go back, please, re-rack it.
Wait, okay.
So at this point, it's gone from, like, if it had ended here, I think you could still make the case that Kathy Lee, while she doesn't think it's uproariously funny, she's still being a good sport about it. But at this point, and Joe has edited this, because this was in their kind of what's going on, sort of their headline segment. They actually go and they talk about Sarah Palin, I think, for a while.
Okay.
And while they're doing that, they, as they said, re-rack it, and then they play a longer clip of Kristen Wiig singing like Kathy Lee Gifford.
Wait, not that bit. Go, if you guys can recut, we'll keep going. But go to the beginning when she does the animation and the Everyone Has a Story, and let's just listen to her sing.
Different as night and day.
Wait.
Everyone has a story. Everyone has a story.
Kathy Lee needs to stop saying animals are freaking out and sort of the Black Eyed Peas.
She has a story. He has a story. Hoda has a story. And Hoda's story is boring.
As they're singing this, Kathy Lee has a look on her face that says, mm-mm.
Okay.
Wait a second. Stop the tape. Stop the tape. Stop the tape. Okay, I want to stop the tape. Stop the tape. Okay, you were not laughing at all until they said one thing. Hoda's story's boring, and then suddenly the laughter.
Because I was listening to her sing.
Yes. Now, do you think she can sing?
No, I think I'm going to sue her for ruining my song. That's a nice story, and we've been doing it for a year. We've touched a lot of people's lives, and I sing it in. Not that I don't take umbrage with anything,
yes,
because
no, you don't.
But don't call her a good singer.
Well, you do
because
take
she's
umbrage.
Not. I'm sorry, she's not. She's not in tune. She's not in tune.
Not in tune?
No.
Okay.
Whatever. Maybe she has a trained ear. It sounded fine to me.
Yeah.
Whatever. Who cares? It's sketch comedy.
It makes her seem a bit catty when
Yeah,
she kind of lets her have it. Don't call her a singer. I mean, she was visibly upset by the illusion or the indication that Kristen Wiig could sing a little bit.
That's ridiculous. We've helped a lot of people with that statement. And don't say she's a singer. She's not.
Okay,
she can't
you know
sing.
What?
She butchered my song.
I'll bet you she will agree with you. You're right. I'm not a singer. I'm on a sketch comedy show, and I'm making fun of you.
Right. And when you say she's a good singer, it's the caveat of she's a good singer for someone who's on a sketch comedy show.
Yeah.
Just like if Kathy Lee Gifford were guest host on SNL and it was funny, you'd say, oh, she's pretty funny. That doesn't mean she's a comedian who's going to start doing stand-up or doing her own sketch show.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh, my God.
I want them to keep doing it now because I think we're closer to a Kathy Lee Gifford breakdown.
Yeah.
And
she may snap.
And when you can see the video of this at freebeerandhotwings.com. Is that in Cool Link, Steve, or is that in
No, it's in the video reel.
In the video reel. I think visually when you see it, she looks more upset than she sounds.
Yeah.
Facial expression and everything. It's that sort of thing where somebody goes, no, that's funny. No, it's funny. I liked it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And you can tell that they're saying, I didn't like it.
Of course she didn't like it.
That's great, yeah. She has no sense of humor.
She hasn't liked it from day one. And that would be great as if she did admitted it from day one. And then that would be a thread.
That would be a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
If she got pissed every time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it'd be awesome. It'd be perfect.
It would be a reason to tune into the Today Show.
Of course.
On Monday.
I'm not interested in her at all unless that were to happen.
Kat joins us. Hi, Kat.
Good morning.
Does the booze thing, does her references to booze, does that hit too close to home for Kathy Lee?
See, the thing that I find ironic is that on the Today Show, they tend to make jokes about it, depending on who the guest chef is or what company sends in their products to try to get national, publicity. It seems that more days out of not that they have alcohol on the show in the morning when they're doing the morning open monologue.
Okay. Well, then not much they can say about it then. Thank you, Kat.
Maybe that is it. Maybe that's something. Maybe she does have the thirst.
Maybe. Brandon joins us. Hi, Brandon.
What's going on, guys?
What do you say?
I think that Kristen Wiig is an awesome singer. I think Kathy Lee Gifford was just a little intimidated by how good she was.
Really?
How much better she sounded than Kathy Gifford, because we all know Kristen Wiig looks better, but...
That's true. She's 30 years younger. But
I didn't expect to get a Kristen Wiig is a good singer take, but okay.
Yeah, you must be the world's biggest fan. Are you wearing your Kristen Wiig T-shirt today?
I like Kristen Wiig. I think she's funny.
Guys, I actually went online and got a Kristen Wiig wig. Can you believe that? I wear it, nothing else. I tuck. Yeah. And then I look at myself. Pretty sweet. Some songs.
in a moment, the slow but enthusiastic girl that we've spoken about earlier today.
Yeah.
That is next. We'll take a break. It is the Free Beer and Hotwig Show.
The Free Beer and Hotwig Show. 1-800-947-3979.
Get off my phone, you little pinhead! Get off!
FreeBeerandHotwigs.com has a bunch of links for you, including the video of the photographer talking about the leopard seal encounter that he had in Antarctica. It's a pretty amazing story. A number of other things as well. If you missed the Bugatti crash from yesterday, that video is at FreeBeerandHotwigs.com, and the one that with the guy talking on the top of the spire in the Burj Dubai building.
Oh, God. So high up.
Makes my hands tingle just thinking about it.
I cannot believe how tall that guy.
2,600
feet. How tall
feet.
the building was.
The sale from Saturn is here. The best deals ever on a Saturn. $4,000 total cash back on every new vehicle or 0% financing. You can check that out at a Saturn dealer today. Number of things to get to in headlines, including the slow but enthusiastic girl in a moment. But first, the death of someone who was a big star on TV in the 80s.
I wasn't like the other kids.
Remote control. TV mattered. Nothing else did.
I think Remote Control was one of their first non-videos related shows on MTV.
I think so, yeah.
Remote Control, Colin Quinn was the announcer and sidekick. Adam Sandler got his start doing TV comedy on there.
Yeah, he was Stud Boy or something, wasn't he? Wasn't that his name on there?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And the host, Ken Ober.
And you were right. This was the first original non-music program. Yeah.
Ken Ober found dead this past weekend at the age of 52.
Here's the little clip from the show, and then there's a news report that'll help us tell the story of it. And that's Colin Quinn?
Yep.
Yeah.
Ken Ober, the actor, comedian, and host of MTV's hit 1980s game show Remote Control, passed away on Sunday, November 16th. The cause of his death is not yet known. Ober first burst on the scene as a contestant of Star Search in their comedy category back in 1983, but gained his most acclaim as
Is this for Great Britain, or do they have a British accent guy on the?
I don't know.
Because no one in the UK would care about this.
No.
I wouldn't have thought so.
Sure, MTV obviously has an impact in Europe and in the UK, but yeah.
But they probably did their own version, though.
I would think.
Maybe.
Host of Remote Control, in which he helped introduce the world to then up-and-coming comedians Adam Sandler and Colin Quinn. He went on to host several other game shows, including Make Me Laugh, Smush, and Perfect Match.
What?
In the 90s, he hosted a talk radio show in LA with former Brady Bunch star Susan Olsen called Ober and Olsen. Most recently, he worked as a producer on Tough Crowd with Colin Quinn, Minor Mencia, and The New Adventures of Old Christine. Ken Ober was 52 years old.
What the hell happened to the guy? I mean,
I think they said no word on the cause of death, but he had complained of a headache and flu-like symptoms on Saturday, and he said on Monday he was going to go and see a doctor as soon as he could.
Swine flu, did he?
Gotta wonder, just based on the symptoms. Doesn't seem out of the question.
By the way, it's so not funny now. You know.
It totally changed.
All the wind is out of the sails. We will never again hear the parody songs. No way.
No, it doesn't.
At least
nope. That time has passed.
That's a fact.
Joe, you wouldn't be comfortable playing hearing the Piggy Flu song, because that's the only one that really stands out. Based on you would still be comfortable playing the Piggy Flu song?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It would.
It would bother. I assumed you wouldn't be comfortable us playing that song.
But yeah, no, I mean that doesn't bother me.
No,
playing the Piggy Flu song.
All right.
It'd feel, even if with you saying that, even if we played it and you laughed hysterically, which you wouldn't because it's your own song and that's not really your thing.
Yeah.
It would still feel weird. Before we get to the young and enthusiastic and slow and enthusiastic girl, Ryan O'Neal. He was in the news a lot. Hot Wings, you really let him have it on what Hot Wings thinks a number of times around the time of Farrah Fawcett's death.
He sure seemed weird.
He's a schmuck.
He kept going on TV, and you really let him have it specifically because he said, I really want to marry her before she dies. Everybody knew she was dying.
Yeah.
Yet all he did is do TV interviews, and he never actually did it.
No, he never did anything.
Remember how he announced to the press that she had died?
She's gone.
Getting in his car, driving away. She's gone. And then there was the videos of him out that night hitting on girls, and then he hit on his own daughter at Farrah Fawcett's funeral. Remember he hit on Tatum O'Neal?
Yeah.
And she had to say, Dad, it's me, Tatum. So the guy's a dirtball.
Yeah, he is.
Well, maybe Farrah Fawcett thought the same thing because Ryan O'Neal got $0 from her estate when the will was read. That's right, $0. Her son got $4.5 million.
That's the son she had a son with Ryan.
Redmond.
Right.
He's the one in prison.
Yeah, he's the drug problem.
Right.
Yeah.
That was a son with Ryan O'Neal?
Yeah, because I think his name is Redmond O'Neal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, is it? Okay. I didn't know.
That's
the son she had. So, yeah, that's and so he gets all the dough.
Yep. $500,000 went to her father. $500,000 went to a nephew, and she also gave $100,000 to a guy named Greg Lott, who has been claiming to any media outlet who will listen that he was her lover until near the very end.
Well, of course he was. Well, of course it's true.
Yeah.
She gave him $100,000 and gave stupid O'Neal, who clearly was in it for the money, and she sniffed it out and just played along and gave him nothing.
Sure seems like it.
How sweet is that? I mean, seriously, what does that say?
It seems pretty strange that he would be omitted completely.
That is a middle finger from the dead, saying you're a big, fat, filthy slob.
And I hope it was done like you see in the movies.
Like on a big table.
Where they bring everybody in and there's a reading of the will. And he's, I didn't get anything. He gets all mad and storms out.
Wait, read that again. Wait, I think you left a page off.
Wait a minute now. Redmond O'Neal, he is in prison for how long? I mean, because it was a drug issue. Is that what you said?
I know that he had to get like a special pass from a judge or whatever to get out and visit his mom as she was dying.
He got $4.5 million out of this, man. This guy's got to keep it together because you got a $4.5 million head start when you get out of the joint.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope there were some strings attached that said you got to go to rehab and get yourself clean if you're going to get this. I doubt it, but.
Oh yeah, he is screwed up.
So NBC is having a contest on the Today Show where they're looking for young reporters, I guess is the gist of what they're doing.
Yeah.
And they announced a winner. I think this was from, Joe, do you know, was this from Monday? From last Friday?
No idea.
It's recent because I just saw it start popping up. They announce a winner of this contest, and there's a little girl sitting on a stool, and she's announced as the winner. And wait till you see and hear her reaction. Now, her reaction initially is silence. Bear in mind, she's staring like a zombie when you're hearing that silence on the radio.
We'll watch it and kind of describe it for you and play the sound.
Today's winner, today's kid reporter is Deirdre Shores. It's you, Deidre, it's you.
It's you, Deirdre.
It's you.
You're the
won.
winner. You're today's Kid Show Kid Reporter winner.
She's terrified. Blank.
You're the winner,
Stunned.
Deirdre.
Stop playing with me.
You're the winner.
Stop playing with me.
You're the winner.
Stop playing.
You're the winner, Deirdre Shores.
Oh, my God.
Oh, God. Oh, my God.
Oh.
You just broke my eardrums.
Oh, man. Wow. Whoa. That is so beyond description.
It's a pretty dramatic change, the way she goes from...
oh, boy.
You know, when they're saying, you're the winner, Deidre, you're the winner, she is... at first, just staring straight ahead, and then she slowly turns and makes eye contact.
Nothing has ever taken longer to sink in.
Well, that is truly, there's something wrong with this kid. I mean, seriously, for it to take that path to get into her brain and then that crazy response.
It's you, Deidre. It's you.
It's you, Deirdre.
It's you.
You're the winner.
Huh?
You're today's Kid Show Kid Reporter winner. You're the winner, Deirdre.
Stop playing with me.
You're the winner.
Stop playing with me.
You're the winner.
Stop playing.
You're the winner, Deirdre Shores.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, man.
my God.
I would disown that child immediately.
She turned into a monster from a Steven Spielberg movie.
Oh.
Hot Wings had a physical reaction the first time that you saw that. You actually backed up and reached for your headphones as though to take them off and throw them away to escape crazy devil child.
I don't like loud, high-pitched noises. I'm not a fan. You chalk that right up there with rubbing styrofoam together or nails on a chalkboard. Mm-hmm. Can't handle it. Don't like screaming.
Guess what's coming?
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's coming. You.
I don't want to hear this.
No. It's been a while since we've heard this. You're closer than ever, Hot Wings.
Oh, God. Hope he never makes noises like that.
For context, there are people hearing this for the first time that have no idea what...
This is 5 years ago in my vehicle with a recorder, rolling as my now 7-year-old, then 2-year-old daughter goes bananas. My other children giving me advice as to what to do with her, including Jackie. Dad, hit her. She's loud. While listening to the radio.
No.
Any parent can relate to this. And Hot Wings will relate to it soon. Won't be long.
Stop it.
Oh, she didn't
that did not help.
That did not help. She did not like that.
Now, wasn't this a stage? She did this pretty regularly then, right?
Hold on. Oh, yeah. Well, hell yeah. Every child does this. Good temper tantrum. I'm cracking up at this point. Still 30 seconds left in this clip.
Oh, my gosh.
Alex, how does that make you feel?
It's terrible.
So upset. Listening to chat.
Madison, for God's sake.
Gonna puke, she says.
Look how stressed this makes Hot Wings.
This is normal, Hot Wings.
This is normal for a girl. I'll bet your son never screamed like this.
Absolutely wrong. It's a 2-year-old. They all behave that way at some point.
Hot Wings, you have to promise us, since clearly you think you are going to skip this, and maybe you will.
And
when it
maybe
happens,
I won't. I mean, I don't know, but
no,
God,
I know it will happen.
You have to promise to bring in audio.
Yeah, just hit it on your phone. I mean, back then I didn't have my phone handy. I was doing PA pranks, that old bit.
Yeah, you just happen to have a mini disc recorder.
I happen to have a mini disc recorder, so that's where that classic clip comes from.
Absolutely.
You are so screwed.
Oh, man. Because right now,
Zane's going to love it.
Yeah, because right now it's just cute noises.
Yeah,
so.
dude.
Those will pass.
Yeah.
In a moment, Russell says we're all hypocritic a-holes.
Okay.
Hypocritical a-holes, I should say. We'll get to that in a moment. Also, Sarah Palin on Oprah. We'll have some audio from that. We'll take a break. It is the Free Beer and Hot Wings Show.
Email the show, idiots@freebeerandhotwings.com. Fail.
The guy that I work out with is super hardcore. He used to work out in L.A., even as a mohawk, so I can't wait.
Super hardcore.
You working out? Did you work out yesterday, Hot Wings?
I did.
What'd you do, man? What did Lance Mohawk work?
Shoulders and upper back.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to work on my delts. I got nothing back there.
Oh.
Yeah.
So what does he do to you? Is he just set after set after set till you're ready to barf?
Pretty much. Yeah, until it's just failure. Till you can't lift your own hand anymore.
Yeah.
Let alone a weight.
You're like, go get the bucket. I'm gonna barf.
Yeah.
Have you ever worked out till barfing?
I have come close twice. There have been times where we were doing really, really intense stuff, like this plyometric stuff, which we don't do that much of, but early on we were doing that, and it's just all these crazy explosive maneuvers. And, yeah, that makes you want to vomit.
Yep.
1-800-947-3979. We'll get to what Hot Wings thinks about how you can do your part to help out with the national debt. Don't think you'll want to, and Hot Wings doesn't want you to. We'll get to that coming up later in this segment. Sarah Palin on Oprah yesterday. We'll spend some time with that. And Stock Car Math just after the top of the hour, 20 minutes away. Now, at the beginning of the last segment, I don't remember exactly how it came up, but Zane, you had referenced that the swine flu song for you would not. It would just feel weird.
Yeah,
now
one of Joe's pals died from H1N1 just recently. So
yeah,
it's kind of that old thing. It's funny because we don't know.
Right.
Now I'm whatever.
And you asked Joe, and Joe said, no, it's cool. And I think Joe's being very honest when he says that, and everybody's different about it. But so it's just an exchange, honest exchange. It happens. Russ says, hell, how did that happen?
Changing.
It did. Let me find it. Russ says, funny how things change when the shoe's on the other foot.
Yep, that's true.
You guys suck.
Okay.
All of a sudden, because it affects you personally, you aren't willing to crack jokes about swine flu anymore. I can't even count the number of times you've told listeners to get a thicker skin about things, and now you have exposed yourselves as well. Thanks for not being willing to do the same things you expect of your listeners. At least Joe isn't doing an about-face on this.
How do you respond to that?
It's our show. We can do whatever we want. When somebody calls and tells us they don't like something we do, they have the option of just listening to something else.
Right.
When we decide that something bothers us, then we just don't do it. I mean, it's a difference of where you're at when it's happening. Are you on the show or are you a listener?
Right.
Your options are different. Our options are to not do it. We can't stop listening to our own show.
Like if someone had called and said, hey, I don't like you making fun of swine flu. I know someone who had died from it. First of all, we would have been sympathetic to them, and we'd have said, well, sorry, but we're not making fun of that person. We would not have then made them sing the piggy flu song on the radio.
Right.
That would be the difference. Now, we have acknowledged, the very statement, it's funny because we don't know them, acknowledges some degree of, I don't know if the term would be hypocrisy or whatever, but that acknowledges that there's a court of separation somewhere in there. It's funny because we don't know them. Clearly, we're acknowledging when you say that it's not really funny. You don't wish that on anyone.
Of course not.
Right. But the symptoms of something can be funny. Like the song Piggy Flu was not done to make fun of people who were dying of swine flu.
No.
It was done to make fun of all of the spoof songs being made about swine flu, contextually speaking.
Yeah. Right. And it was when it was at the height of hype where nothing had happened yet. So, 6 months ago, it was a very different sensibility than it is now, that thousands of people are dying.
And I can't say that there won't be a time where the Piggy Flu song won't be funny to me again, because either way, Joe's performance is silly and he giggles all the way through it, and it makes me laugh. I'll probably think it's funny, but it's also that thing of time plus tragedy equals funny. Never would that be funny if we said, hey, Joe, what about this for your friend Ben? That would never, ever, ever be funny. And we would also never do that to a listener if they called up. We would never say, hey, hey, listen to this. Not that I can think of. I'm sure someone will find an exception.
Now I actually want to play the song. Because
let's test it. Let's see how we feel about it.
All right,
it's
Joe.
just so silly. It's not, I wouldn't in any way link this to my friend Ben or anyone else who has diany and any of the families who are hurting from this tragedy.
Still funny. I'm sorry.
Sounds just like it.
If you've seen any news, then you know why I feel blue. I got Piggy, the Piggy flu. We're all going to die because we all have Piggy flu.
Still
Took
weird.
a trip to Mexico, got diarrhea and a poncho and Piggy. The Piggy flu. Yeah, I got the squirts and a thing called Piggy flu.
It's the best line on Goo.
Piggy flu. Piggy flu. Piggy, 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 piggy flu. Uh-oh, Piggy. The Piggy flu. It's really called swine flu, but that didn't rhyme very well.
The best part.
I hate you, Piggy flu. I would rather munch on goo than have Piggy. The Piggy flu. Oh, I hate this, but what can I do? Solo!
What is that instrument?
Piggy flew. Oh, Piggy. The piggy flew. Oh, we're all going to die because we all have piggy flu. The end.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was terrific.
Oh, boy,
that wasn't so bad.
Yeah, it's still actually quite poignant.
Wasn't so bad.
To me,
True.
I mean, it's exactly what you were saying. The bit was us making fun of the fact that there's a service that takes anything from the news,
comedy service, yeah,
and just sticks it into any song.
Mm-hmm.
So we were
Whether
showing-
it makes sense or not, they just shove it in there. So we said we could all do this anytime.
It wasn't that we were making fun of swine flu.
No.
And people who have swine flu.
Yeah, there's no such thing as piggy flu, and I would rather not munch on goo
Okay.
in real life.
Good for you.
And you've never even gone
Good
to
for
Mexico and gotten a poncho.
Yeah, never. Not once. It's not literal. It's a silly, stupid song. You know.
Well, clearly Russell got his feelings hurt at some point.
Oh, Russell.
And he's been
Yeah,
waiting
that's
to
what it
break one off, and this was the opportunity. And you're welcome to feel how you want, but the fact of the matter is, even if we made if something bad happened to someone in Russell's family and we made fun of that, it would not be for the intention of saying, "Ha ha, glad something bad happened to you."
Yeah, Russell.
Sometimes on the show, and I hate that we even have to explain this because I think 99% of the people who listen to the show, even the newest people in Reno or Traverse City, get it, that we're not wishing that somebody had it, but there's that little part of your brain that when you see a news story, even when it's sad, like the cheerleader who has to walk backwards, there's part of you that says, man, that shouldn't be funny, but it is. And sometimes on the show, the job is to actually acknowledge that part of your brain exists. Mm-hmm. You may feel dirty afterwards, like I do, or you may not, whatever.
Mm-hmm. It's all done It's all done in comedy.
Russ.
There's not a bone in my body that wants anything bad to happen to anybody.
Right.
It's all humor. Anything awkward, it's done for humor, for entertainment.
What about Russ? You
That's
want something
it.
bad to happen to him?
Yeah, Russ.
Shut your mouth, you stupid bitch.
Yeah, plus now we played it, so your argument's dead.
Yeah, it is. So
Your argument just died.
there you go, Russ. Go be miserable somewhere else.
Yeah.
1-800-947-3979. You can email idiots@freebeerandhotwings.com. We'll probably save the Sarah Palin stuff.
Gonna have to.
Until a little bit later, because otherwise it's going to be weird. We should mention again, Brock Lesnar. We were going to mention the headlines and didn't get a chance. We talked about it a little bit yesterday. The UFC heavyweight champion, dominant, and appeared to be set up. This guy would have been, I mean, they make a boatload of money off every one of their pay-per-views anyway. But when he would fight, he was certainly set up, especially if he ever fought that fighter named Fedor Emelianenko. It would have been a massive pay-per-view. And now he's in a hospital with an undetermined illness, and Dana White, president of UFC, says he may not ever fight again.
Man.
Well, is there a chance he could die, do you think? Who knows? I guess.
It's hard to tell because the way they're talking about it, it certainly seems like that's possible. He's going to have an operation. They say it's something intestinal. We got an email from somebody yesterday who speculated, and it's pure speculation, that it could be something similar to what Walter Payton had, where all of a sudden you find out that he has I don't remember, I know it has something to do with, I think, his liver.
Yeah, I saw that email too, and this guy implied that Brock Lesnar, because of years of illegal substances to make himself bigger, faster, stronger, that this is the ramifications, and then he said that Payton, that was the same thing. I have never, ever heard any speculation about Walter Payton taking performance-enhancing supplements like steroids. I
never heard a word about that.
I always just thought he was a supreme athlete and really
right.
good.
And he was notorious for his ridiculous off-season workouts. Now, maybe someone who was making the argument would say, well, that's because he could do steroids and recover more quickly. Not because, steroids don't always make you bulky, but I don't know, man.
Yeah, that doesn't add up to me.
Now, this thing with Brock Lesnar, whether it's steroids or what, just the way they're approaching this story.
Yeah.
There are some things that make alarms go off and make you go,
boy.
It seems a little weird.
They're kind of tap dancing, tiptoeing around it.
Maybe. Yeah. I wanted to see him fight again, just from that perspective. That's disappointing. 1-800-947-3979. You can email idiots@freebeerandhotwings.com.
what Hot Wings thinks. Hot Wings, what Hot Wings thinks.
Free Beer Zane and listeners, I love this country, but God, our government really annoys me. This is the time of the year where many of us really focus on helping out those in need, the holidays, and the federal government would like you to know that they are also accepting handouts. The U.S. Treasury Department has set up a website to explain how you can easily give donations to help pay down the national debt.
What?
All you have to do is write a check to the Bureau of the Public Department and make a note in the memo section that it's a gift to help pay down the national debt. Oh, yeah. I'm going to get right on that. Screw you, food bank. Bite me, Coats for Kids. And take a hike, Toys for Tots. So I'm going to give more money to the government because I've always dreamt of being an enabler on a grand scale. Apparently, this is nothing new, as a few stupid Americans donated more than $3 million toward the federal debt last year. Who are the boobs who can't think of a better charitable cause to support than the dicks on Capitol Hill who don't know how to live within their means?
Well.
Hey, so far you've only come in and legally stolen about a third of my income. Please, have more. Seriously, where do I sign up? Do you take arms or legs? I got a good idea, Congress. Stop wasting money on stuff no one wants, like the 12 new F-22 Raptors that the Defense Department said they didn't need or want, but you bought anyway for $2 billion. What else are you going to buy for other departments just to pad the pockets of the companies that funded your campaigns? A-holes. Kids are hungry. I'm not giving any more money to you. Of course, they'll just raise our taxes when they want to waste more money on other useless things that help no one but their friends, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Cut out the middleman and hand over your checkbook now. No wonder people stockpile guns. Crooks. I'm Hot Wings, and that's what I think.
That's your new opinion from Hot Wings. More of the Free Beer and Hot Wings show is next.
Me too.
Check out the website, freebeerandhotwings.com. That is there.
You gonna get any hate mail for that one?
No, none worse than how I hate myself right now. See, every once in a while.
Well, yeah, explain what happened here.
We have these windows where we do local stuff, and we have these windows where we're on the network.
I mean, like time, certain blocks of time that we have to be touching buttons at certain points for different stations down the affiliation.
And the number one reason why I have radio dreams now at this point in my life 2 or 3 times a week, which is 2 or 3 more times a week than I used to. In the dream, I always do what I just did, and that is screw up the timing and ruin the day for about 18 radio stations, or more or less.
How does it go on their end? What takes place that makes things a disaster?
In that case, we went long, so whereas normally they would have been hearing this and playing, you're listening to, or whatever.
Yeah.
They heard us blathering on about
talking on a local level about
something
things
they didn't care about or
that
didn't know about.
Sounds weird. Because
I have one job, and that's to make sure that works out. There's a clock on the wall.
Let me ask
I
you
have
this.
notes over here to myself.
Is there
anything less than 100% perfection is a complete failure.
But a station that's carrying the show with a man sitting there, a person, man or woman, they would not put that on the air?
It's probably a bigger screw job to them because they've no doubt timed things out perfectly, and they're counting on me or in this case, Hot Wings or whatever, to shut up.
This is now time only for people who run the show in other markets to call in and voice their grievances. So that we can get this out of the way now. 1-800-947-3979.
We'll just say we're sorry.
We'll say we're sorry, but you can always bitch to Steve at any point or send your emails.
E-cards to Steve about how upset you are.
How upset you are. Poor things.
My apologies. Legitimate apologies. Hot Wings, Zane, or earlier when we talked about Russ's email, apparently our discussion of it actually alienated people more than the actual thing in the first place.
Apparently.
About whether or not we were hypocrites because Zane simply acknowledged that it would feel weird to you to play the Piggy Flu song. And Joe said it wouldn't be any big deal to him. That was when this first came up. It was at the time, I thought it was very offhanded and casual and not meant to be a topic by any stretch. And then a guy named Russ emailed and said, you know what, that was very hypocritical. You would tell listeners to grow a thicker skin And sometimes you guys really suck. Now, he has emailed back and said, hey, I still like the show, and it's all good. It doesn't matter.
I don't like you.
You have different opinions. But, yeah, apparently, in what was attempted to be an explanation, apparently that was worse.
Come on.
In our face.
How could it be worse?
Scott writes, if Russ was so off base, if you only play the swine flu parody songs because it's comedy and not directed at anyone in particular, then why would you stop playing them because Ben died? It's not directed at Ben, right? You guys would have been better off saying, you know what? It's hypocritical. We accept that. It's our show and we do what we want is the broadcaster equivalent of don't you know who I am? It's pretty disappointing.
No, it is not. Plus, you can't listen to anything Scott says because he emails 81 times every day about everything.
Oh, super fan.
Yeah.
Maybe at least he was.
Oh, well. It still is. We've made fun of him.
I would have, I'm not saying you have to agree with us because clearly you could see this from a lot of different ways, but I think you acknowledging that would feel weird is simply being honest. And if that makes you a hypocrite in some people's minds, or if it makes me a hypocrite in your mind.
Okay, guilty.
Then yeah, Scott's right. It would be better off to just say that what it is.
There's nothing worse than a person calling another person a hypocrite because by nature we all are. Let's just get over that. Next. Okay, we're all hypocrites. We've established that. I'm a hypocrite. Yeah. I'm hypocritical. I'm all the time. I'm doing it right now. So are you. All right. Okay, great. I'm a hypocrite. Okay, guess what, guys? I'm hypocritical. Oh! Oh, no, guys! I'm an effing hypocrite! Oh, my God! That's hypocritical! What am I going to do?
We're going to play stock car math.
I'm a hypocrite.
That's what we're going to do. 1-800-947-3979. We need 2 contestants who will get first crack at Joe's stock car math question. 1-800-947-3979.
And as when we wrap up NASCAR math, we've got a caveat about this song and this band, Cherry Slush.
Mm-hmm. That's a fact.
So we will get to that.
Mm-hmm. So Joe's going to be doing the question. The numbers have been replaced by drivers' names. Their names are equivalent to the numbers on the car they drive commonly. Names of NASCAR drivers can be found at NASCAR.com if you want to find the list.
Yep.
But preferably this game is for NASCAR fans. That's why we do a NASCAR-themed game. If we're going to have a great NASCAR prize, it makes sense. Because there are some people that hate NASCAR no matter what. We'll get those emails. Oh, I hate it. Don't even talk about it. Okay, fine. But we're still going to.
Right.
Because Cat Footwear's given us this great trip to give away. You got airfare, hotel, tickets to the race. It's all included. You go to the big race in Daytona. You know which one I'm talking about. 500 miles. You used to race out on the beach. Now it's the first one. It's the granddaddy of them all, so to speak.
Yep. We have to be coy because they gave us marching orders. They said you will not use our name and your radio promotion, and that is all, or you will be sued. We said, okay, no problem. We're good at explaining things. We don't need your name.
If our contestants do not get this question right away, within 30 seconds, then other listeners will have the opportunity. Let's welcome PJ. Hi, PJ.
How you doing?
Good. Is this true? We have PJ and BJ?
No, I'm TJ.
PJ and TJ?
No, B.
All right, okay.
All right,
so
hold on.
TJ and BJ.
PJ is on the phone right now. Is it a P or is it a T?
T.
T like Tom.
You're
TJ.
TJ.
TJ like TJ Hooker.
All right. Okay.
And BJ like...
Yeah, a job.
So the second caller, the one that I'm welcoming now, you're BJ.
Yes.
What is it like going through life called BJ?
Yeah, what is your real name?
Interesting.
What's that?
William is my real name. It's interesting.
So when let's say you meet somebody for a job or a date, socially, professionally, at some point, several times during the week, you're going to have to stick out your hand and say, hey, nice to meet you, BJ.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Why don't you go by Bill or Will?
I don't know. It's what I've always grown up with.
That's what
You're just a BJ.
Yeah.
You are a BJ.
Are you a big guy, little guy?
Average, 6 foot.
Okay.
So you like BJ.
You're an average BJ.
Right.
So you like giving your name, so you like giving BJ.
I don't know if I go that far.
Quite a stretch.
Well, it's your name, isn't it? How long have you been...
You like giving your name, so you like giving BJ.
So when it comes to giving your name, how long have you been giving BJ?
I don't know.
Do you prefer giving BJ to men?
You'd kind of have to, wouldn't you?
BJ, you probably
women.
You probably just do it with strangers, right? Because people you already know.
Have you ever given BJ to a man at the rest stop?
Ridiculous.
No, I would have to say not.
TJ.
Yeah.
What is your first name?
Tom.
Tom. For this purpose, would you guys, since TJ and BJ sound nearly identical, at least when someone's buzzing in loudly.
Yeah. One guy referred himself as Blow. I say BJ.
Right. So TJ, you will buzz in as Tom, and BJ, you will buzz in as Blow.
All right.
Okay. Joe is going to give.
By the way, I could use a blow.
See, BJ? Oh, it works out. Joe is going to give the NASCAR math question. The answer is a NASCAR driver's name signifying the number on their door. Joe, you ready?
Yeah.
Tom and Blow, you ready?
All right.
Okay, good.
All right.
Okay. We played stock car math Tony Stewart times. This has gone smoothly Robbie Gordon of those times. If we play Earnhardt Jr. more times and the current trend continues, how many of those Earnhardt Jr. games will go smoothly?
That's a good question. Buzz in by saying your name. Blow.
A.J. Allmendinger.
Yeah.
Well done.
Way to go, Oral.
Tom, you didn't win.
Oral.
Nice job.
Blow J, you have a chance to go to Daytona with us. I'm sure you're hoping you win now.
Yeah.
So you can get 4 days of going, hey, Blow, we're going to the race.
You can give your name.
Weekend.
You can give your name to all the guys on the bus.
That's right.
Even the bus driver would like you to give your name.
I like how just giving your name has become an oral sex reference.
It has.
It makes sense.
So congratulations, Beeger.
Yep.
All right,
That's
thanks.
right.
All
Hold
right.
on, you may win.
Fun, man.
I just hung up on Blow.
Did you?
This is
no.
not, but technically speaking, this has been one of my poorest performances of a segment of all time.
You blue-balled BJ.
We got a text.
Blow, please call back. I 100% apologize.
Guy runs the show for us in Albany, Q103.
Whose name?
BJ checks in. Man, this so hits close to home. It just don't. Yeah, he's a BJ too.
Yeah, big BJ.
What's that like, BJ? Hi, I'm BJ. I'd like to ask you out.
Hey guys, it's me, Blow. My friends call me BJ.
BJ. Hi, I'm BJ. What?
I wonder if anybody who had the nickname BJ before had ever felt badly or had never felt badly about it before. And now all of a sudden this is going to be in their head every time they introduce themselves.
Yeah. Who would do that? Because it isn't like his parents gave him the name. He chose the name.
Well,
His name is Robert or Bobby.
They may have started calling him BJ, though, when he was a kid. I mean, that happens. He's probably got a brother named HJ.
Yeah, maybe he's a Blow Junior. So rather than you know, being confused
maybe.
and saying Little Blow and Big Blow, they go with, BJ.
Mm-hmm.
Joe?
His mom probably just liked BJ's.
Okay.
I think
Probably.
think that she was the one who started it.
You think she may have dreamed of the day where she would give her kid a B?
Yeah, and maybe one day she'll get an RJ in the mix.
She wanted to give the world a BJ. And then she did.
BJ, RJ, HJ, and my newborn toss salad. RJ.
I couldn't. Actually, I had to step back and go, wait, RJ. What is it? Oh.
Yeah.
His mom's filthy.
Yeah, apparently she is.
Daughter,
All right.
ATM. Sister, DP.
Yeah.
Dad, DVDA.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Because they have all of that's their initials.
Yeah.
Wow. That is tough, man. We got a lot of mileage out of that guy's
Yeah, we
name.
sure did.
It's pathetic.
That's a lot of fun.
In a moment, have you ever had your child stuck in a washing machine? I'm going to go out on a limb and guess no. We'll get to that in a moment.
And we never did get to Cherry Slush, the update about them. Apparently some of the band members' offspring are listening and curious about an announcement we made about them and their upcoming appearance.
We'll get to that in a moment, too. We'll take a break. It is the Free Beer and Hot Wings Show.
It was Sorcerer's Stone in America! Balls! So pissed!
This is my shoe.
This is my hat.
Oh, God. That was earlier. Talking about movies. Point made. Sarah Palin on Oprah. We'll get to some of that audio a little bit later on. She kind of puts Katie Couric in the crosshairs. Yeah. Katie Couric's in a weird spot because she can't respond too much or she ends up looking like she has a beef with a candidate. But she, at the same time, probably needs to defend herself against an accusation that was made. At the very least, she needs to, at least in my eyes, it would be in her best interest to address it in some way. We'll tell you about that coming up a little bit later on.
Yep.
Don't forget the sale is on at Saturn. The best deals ever on Saturn. $4,000 cash back on every new vehicle or 0% financing. Get to your Saturn retailer today. Zane mentioned in the last segment, Cherry Slush.
Yeah, that's... Whenever we do NASCAR math, we pull out this awful song made by a band that was on a compilation disc of a radio station that I worked at in Saginaw, Michigan called Hometown Heroes. And it was just a local release sponsored by John's Disc Exchange, you know?
Yeah.
And one of the bands was Cherry Slush. It's
I went on down to Charlotte just to see some friends of mine.
a NASCAR
They
song.
took me to the racetrack
And we made fun of it. And it works well for our stock car math. Way to get us into it.
Yep.
And so the song is kind of building this stupid status. And now, in the process of playing it, I said, well, I wonder what is the, because I don't know anything about this band other than that they were on this release. Well, it turns out that they were, in fact, a local garage band that had regional, when I say regional success, 3 or 4 towns, a couple local hits. It's from in the 60s. Kind of like a psychedelic sound on them. There was a guy in that band, reasonably famous, named Dick Wagner, who wrote a lot of songs with Alice Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I don't know what he's doing now. Well, when we were talking about stock car math, I said, oh, yeah, Cherry Slush, they're going to be playing at our big party at Daytona. And when we're over at turn 3, when Joe's out getting hammered and we're out having a good time, we're going to have Cherry Slush there. Andy, can you please describe the phone call you got not too long ago earlier in the show?
Yeah, the daughter of one of the drummers called and was wondering how many of the guys in the band were going to be there. And I really had no idea.
Didn't really.
So the daughter of the drummer.
No. Yeah, apparently. And I don't know why she didn't ask her old man why they weren't going, but
it's strange.
whatever.
They're strange.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah, well, probably. I mean, that happens a lot with bands of notable success like that.
People come, people go. Maybe they got a session drummer to sit in their big Daytona show.
Well, don't know.
Well, now, in that process, I then looked on YouTube. I looked up Cherry Slush, and there is a song that they had in the 60s called I Cannot Stop You. And it's a classic. This is the type of song you'd hear on Little Steven's Underground Garage, this type of song, this band. And in this YouTube video, it's just still images from the band Cherry Slush. And there you see images of them. And I'll send you this link, Steve. We can post this. Of them in the 60s, wearing their 60s gear. Look like some mods, whatever. Very much. Then there's a photo of them, because they've done a lot of reunion shows. And something tells me it isn't really living the rock and roll lifestyle when the lead singer is wearing a gray tank top tucked into mom pants with no shoes or socks on stage. Mom blue jeans. Look at that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Rock and roll.
Yeah. Wow. So, I cannot confirm that Cherry Slush will be appearing at turn 3 of the Daytona 500.
I think we could
confirm that.
Merely say that if they do play there, we would be delighted, and that it would be an amazing coincidence.
That would be something.
We should go out of our way to get them to rent them a van, and they can relive the dream at the Daytona 500.
You imagine they end up getting invited to play like Keith Urban did in the infield? They get to do a song about Digger, the stupid cartoon gopher. This all seems very unlikely.
Oh, man. I can't believe the daughter of the drummer is playing Where's My Dad's Gig going to be and who is all going to be there.
No. The band is going to break up because of rumor and innuendo started.
Hell, they're not going to be able to get time off at Pep Boys.
1-800-947-3979.
Uh-huh.
Zane, you have 3 children.
Yes, sir.
Have any of them ever been placed in a washing machine?
No. None.
Of course not. In this particular case, this story, it could have been a tragedy. Ends up being narrowly averted. You can see the news story on this at freebeerandhotwigs.com.
It's all smiles today for 7-month-old Valle Hernandez. But there was a time Tuesday night when some people were praying for his survival. Mike Adams was closing his restaurant just a few doors down from Terry's Coin Laundry when the commotion began.
There was 2 ladies there. They were screaming and pointing in the washing machine. In my stomach, I just got sick feeling.
I'm a very excitable man.
This guy is
freaking out.
He just opened the restaurant after years of selling mobile homes in Alabama.
The women didn't speak English, but one was pointing to the running machine and screaming, "Baby."
I was just doing all I could do to keep the door pried open.
I sprung into action.
Now they're showing it. This is one of those industrial washing machines with the door mounted on the side, not on the top.
This is like a big one.
Absolutely. And it's, you know, the glass door, obviously, and the rest is stainless steel.
I said, oh, no, it's time for me to save the day yet again. When will my job as a superhero end?
And the water draining out.
Police say it was a miracle that a bystander was able to get the 7-month-old out. That's because on these machines, once the cycle starts, the doors lock.
I use my superhuman strength to rip the door off.
With the help of 2 others, Adams finally pried the door open.
It was forever for me. Maybe. I'm wanting to hope it was a little less than 2 minutes at the most.
This has changed me. I will be a more dynamic individual like I am with you now.
It was still too long.
Knocked unconscious but still breathing on his own, Hernandez was rushed to a hospital. He has bruises all over his body, some matching the marks from inside the machine. But his mom says he's okay.
Some matching the marks like the inside of the machine. Does that mean the rest resemble a fist from the beating he took before that?
I thought that was weird that they said some of them, because all of the bruises, one would think, would be from when the 7-month-old child, was in the washing machine.
Yeah.
It seems pretty straightforward. Now listen to their explanation of how the child got in there.
Yeah, I'd like to hear this.
Because the washing machine would be at about waist height for the average person, the door on this thing.
Right.
So how did Valle wind up in the washing machine?
Radio stunt.
Police say he'd been playing in a basket with his 4-year-old brother in the minutes leading up to the accident.
We speculate that the 7-month-old climbed out of the basket into the machine, and his 4-year-old brother closed the door on him. Unfortunately.
I've never had a 7-month-old. Does that seem likely? They're probably crawling and everything by then, right?
Yeah, and then, in very early, developers may even be able to slightly stand, but most of them would not have the upper body strength to pull themselves into a washing machine.
That's fishy.
The only thing I could think of is they're talking about not a typical laundry basket like the one you would hoist and carry, but one of those they sometimes had at laundromats, at least when I used to go, where it's on wheels and you could wheel it from one washer to a dryer.
Because I'm picturing a small one you get for 99 cents at floor level.
Right.
The mother turned her
back. Hell no. The 4-year-old put him in there.
That's kind of how it seems.
Or the mother is the stupidest person in the world. Because I looked it up, and an average 7-month-old weighs about 18 pounds.
Okay.
I've never had laundry weigh 18 pounds before. I'd pretty well realize something was not right with my laundry if I grabbed all of it and it weighed 18 pounds.
Well, yeah, but people who generally go to laundromats, we can all admit, are generally stupid. We can probably say that.
Nope.
Can we say that?
No, we can't.
Generally?
Nope. On your own.
A lot of stupid people go to laundromats.
If you can't afford a washer and dryer, you are dumb.
Every one of us here went to a laundromat at some point. Were you dumb then?
Well, you're asking Zane.
Hot Wings, were you dumb then?
I wasn't dumb.
At the age that I had children, I had a washer and dryer.
Idiocy. How do you even debate this? The broad stroke that if you go to a laundromat, you're dumb. I don't know why I even engaged it. Why would I go? No. Make your own decision.
Well. All right, you can't prove it right, but you can't prove it wrong. I'm just saying, stupid people patronize laundromats. Just go to any one of them.
Well, it's true. You will often find some stupid people at the laundromat. I don't think all people that go to laundromats are stupid, but a lot of stupid people do go there.
You could find stupid people anywhere.
Well, that's true, but there is a pretty pretty good percentage.
You could make the blanket statement, only stupid people, and then fill in the blank of anywhere. Only stupid people go to airports. Well, really, you could say it about anything.
No, but you do find a higher concentration at certain locations for certain things.
You don't find upwardly mobile people at laundromats.
Well,
and that doesn't make sense.
No, I don't know about that. I mean, we were in college.
You don't find people who are successful at laundromats. Thus, rarely are stupid people successful. So you can make the leap that everybody in the laundromat is poor and stupid.
By your own definition, you are going to get caught inside a washer at a laundromat today.
Can't prove it right, can't prove it wrong.
No, you can. You can prove it right.
I know you can.
Actually,
just by listening to this.
You can prove it wrong. Yeah. Not everybody who goes. They're just maybe they're all poor.
Well, that's true.
But they're not all stupid.
I went to a laundromat.
Agree. They're not all stupid, but I would say most of the time when you go in there, you see that one lady. She thinks that 8 hamburgers is a good breakfast. She's wearing a muumuu, one slipper. You got teeth are falling out of her head. She smells like a pelican. Good God.
For that split second.
Anytime you see something.
Listen to this dope. Listen to him. He's retarded.
He worked at a restaurant near a laundromat. Does that automatically make him stupid too?
He knew where it was. You know he does his clothes there.
So now it's if you know where a laundromat is.
That's where he goes to pick up women.
If you hear an emergency at a laundromat, you must be stupid.
Okay. Steve, do you do your clothes at a laundromat?
Yes. Yes, I do.
I rest my case.
Case closed.
I changed my mind.
No,
you might be right.
No, it's Joe.
We'll get to Sarah Palin coming up in a moment. We'll take a break. It is the Free Beer and Hot Wings Show.
Email the show, idiots@freebeerandhotwings.com.
Gore, Carter, Obama, soon Bill Clinton. You see a pattern here, folks? Liberal sellouts get this prize. George Bush liberates 50 million Muslims.
Sarah Palin started the promotion for her book tour yesterday by appearing on Oprah. The interview was recorded on Friday. We'll get to some audio of that in a moment. We were talking in the last segment about the 7-month-old baby that ended up stuck inside a washing machine until Mr. Excitement came down and pried the door open and the water drained out, thus saving the infant's life.
The type of guy that you picture him like in the aftermath of a massive tornado in Oklahoma or house destroyed by a hurricane in Galveston. And you picture with that tone of voice him saying, I'm going to rebuild.
Mm-hmm. I would say that's a pretty apt description. You guys haven't even seen him yet, but I'll bet you could tell a sketch artist what he looks like, and it'd be pretty close.
He sounds like he enjoys reclining on a bale of hay.
Yeah. That seems very accurate, based on what I saw. I bet he does have a bale of hay that...
Like he's actually made a recliner out of hay.
Mm-hmm. Pull a piece out, put it in his mouth, and then sit on it.
You ought to come on over to see the recliner I made.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, it reminded us, as we talked about that baby ending up inside the recliner, of the time that, as a very early Joe stunt, Joe had to take a ride in a dryer. Different than this child being stuck in a washer, but nonetheless, still a degree of difficulty. And Joe, you had great trepidation leading up to this because...
It was a side load dryer, and I thought that the drum, because of my weight, was going to fall into the bottom of it, into the electronics of the machine.
I remember you being greatly concerned that you were going to be electrocuted by this dryer.
I still would be today.
I can't say that wouldn't happen.
And this ghoulish, monstrous lady was working there, and she had her eye on you. She kind of knew you were up to something, didn't she?
Yeah, well, I walked in with another guy and one sweater to wash.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And this beast is watching you.
Yeah, she's watching from a desk kind of around the corner, so she can't really see what we're doing. So that did give us enough time for me to manage to wedge myself in there,
and
which was hard as hell.
There were no other patrons there. It was just the two of you and...
Yeah, there may have been one at the other side. I mean, it's a large laundromat for sure.
Do we have the video of this, by the way? I'm sure we do.
Oh, it's
Can we
somewhere
get that?
for sure.
We need to get that put back up at freebeerandhotwings.com because the video is a classic. But this is what it sounded like after Joe. He spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to get into the dryer because it was just high enough that he couldn't just sit in it and push back. But he finally got in. And the guy who was taping, known as Chuck DeBone, who had his own historical moments on the show, was there to operate the dryer and film.
DeBone at this point is breaking down, stupidly, what temperature setting to put. And we're like, who cares, idiot? So that's where we pick it up. Joe's in the dryer. The beast is nearby, about to catch wind of what's going on, as Joe has his phone. DeBone has his own phone.
You want warm, medium, or hot, Joe?
No.
Dummy. Do it now.
Go. Get it going, Chuck. Quit dicking around.
There it goes. Here comes the beast.
What?
Don't ever come in here again.
It sucked me in.
Yeah, right.
It did. I swear.
I've been here for 7 years. You know you can ruin that dryer like that?
I didn't mean to.
Sounds like Sarah Palin.
We're leaving.
Run.
Don't ever come back in here
Run.
again.
Okay.
Joe, tell her to shut up, car, bitch. Don't do that. No.
Oh, man. Did you hear how sexy she was?
I swear. I've been here for 7 years. You know you can ruin that dryer like that?
I didn't mean to.
My pants are so tight right now.
We're leaving.
Run.
Don't ever come back in here
Run.
again.
Okay.
Oh,
Do you think that lady still works there? Because she would probably have been there
Yes.
11 or 12
Yes.
years now.
Yeah,
Yes.
because
Still
we
works there.
we got emails saying, yeah, it's true, we've seen her there for that long. When we did
Joe,
it.
we should send you back there and go hit on her.
I was saying we should do laundromat trivia because they are all stupid.
To go and test Zane's theory that if someone
Laundromat
goes
Truey.
to a laundromat,
Yeah.
they must be stupid.
True, that would be good.
Yeah, and she's king of them.
Oh, man.
She is their king. That's a good point.
Oh, my God.
Sarah Palin, the long-awaited interview with Oprah Winfrey finally aired yesterday. A whole hour dedicated to Sarah Palin.
And so we talked about this a little bit earlier, and she talked about Katie Couric. Listen to what she refers to Katie Couric as in this clip.
We had just come off the most amazing rally, and I'm pumped up. We're running backstage, and my friend Bexy, she opens the curtain, and there's the perky one again with the microphone and the camera's rolling, and I'm like, dang, give me just a couple of minutes to gather.
You mean Katie?
With all due respect, nicely, yeah.
Oh, man.
With all due respect.
With all due respect.
Not that she needs to be respectful of Katie Couric, but that whenever you have to say with all due respect, it always, as we said earlier, seems like you are not offering them any of their due respect.
She's got a beef with her, and then part of what it was the when Couric interviewed her, she asked Palin, what magazines do you read? And she gave a horrible answer. She said, all of them. I just read all of them. And it was really weird, and no one could figure out what the hell was going on and why she answered it in the way she did. She tries to explain that here.
Obviously, you've read books and magazines. Why didn't you just name some books or magazines?
Well, and obviously, but it was like
you couldn't think of any in the moment, or you
That's insulting.
It was more like, are you kidding me? Are you really asking me? To me, it was in the context of, do you read? How do you stay informed? Your way up there, it seemed like she was discovering this nomadic tribe, a member of a tribe from some Neanderthal cave in Alaska, asking me, how do you stay in touch with the real world?
Well, whatever. I mean, she was there. Palin was there. Maybe she was acting weird, but it didn't seem weird on TV. It just seemed like a legitimate question.
Without it being edited, maybe we would find that Couric was being very condescending in her question line. It seems like she could have, if you're going to be a successful politician, I'm sure you have to deal with that regularly. Simply, instead of getting annoyed, which even to Palin's credit, she said, I shouldn't have let my annoyance come through.
Right.
It didn't come through, though. It just seemed like she was stupid.
Right.
Yeah. It didn't seem like she was annoyed.
Your annoyance manifests in clearly stupid stupid outward actions, it looks like.
Yeah.
It appears you're dumb.
Yeah.
And then there was more on the Katie Couric interview. Sarah Palin on Katie Couric asking about abortion 12 times. I don't remember this coming up in the interview, but apparently she asked about abortion a lot.
The interview, they did several portions of the interview, and there was a lot of tape and a lot of, Sarah Palin said, hours. And so this particular question was revisited a number of times.
And I talk a lot about the Katie Couric interview in the book because I want the transcript, too, to speak for itself, to show that she asked me 12 different times my position on abortion in the morning after pill. She did not want, I guess, to hear my first candid, truthful response about being pro-life and wanting to usher in a culture of life and empower women to know that they are strong enough and smart enough to have that child. I gave my answer, and she asked it again.
Huh. Well, that's interesting. If she kept asking.
If she kept asking the same question over and over, I can see where that would be a little irritating.
Heck yeah.
Well, the thing is, though, if she did that, I wonder if Palin responded with, no, I already answered you. I mean, I'll say it again if you want. I feel this way about it. That shouldn't be a...
Yeah.
That seems weird to me.
I don't think it's out of the question that an interviewer trying to get a story would phrase a question that had a similar content in a different way a number of different times with the hopes of trying to catch someone in a contradiction so that they could, if that's the case, if that's what Couric was doing, then that's dirty pool, I think.
Yeah, and I could see then where her stupid terminology of the gotcha media would come from, where if they were trying to get her to be inconsistent in something, going out of their way, but
shouldn't
who knows
be too hard
if that's
if you're
true.
honest.
Yeah.
I mean,
no,
seriously.
it shouldn't be.
Then there was, they got on to the discussion of the father of Palin's grandchild, Levi Johnston, who couldn't be more of a tool.
Yeah,
this guy is such a dope. No discernible anything, and all these opportunities are popping up for him. It pisses me off, frankly.
Are you aware of all the other things that he's saying? That you really weren't a good parent, that Bristol really raised Piper, that you and your husband really don't get along, all those things.
Right. I did hear that he said I never really went to hockey games. Just so many of the inconsistencies. That's Levi's gig right now, and I really don't want to comment on it because he's on a road that it's not a healthy place to be. He's a teenager. I don't think he realizes quite yet what it is that he is being handled and orchestrated around for him to be participating in this.
Why did she bring up the hockey game thing? Because if he's talking about these serious issues that he's claiming, parents, bad mother, he even said I don't go to hockey games. Really?
Get along, all those things.
Right. I did hear that he said I never really went to hockey games.
Well, that would be my first concern of if someone told lies about me, if they said I was a hypocrite
That's what drives me
and a
crazy.
bad husband and someone who wasn't good at their job, if they also asserted that I didn't attend a sporting event, that is the number one thing that would make me upset.
That drives me crazy. And then, he's appearing in Playgirl.
Right.
Yeah.
She talks about that.
Because so much of the discussion with Levi has to do with his most beautiful baby boy, Trip, and Trip's future, that I don't think a national television show is the place to discuss some of the things that he's doing and saying. And by the way, I don't know if we call him Levi. I hear he goes by the name Ricky Hollywood now. So if that's the case, we don't want to mess up this gig he's got going, kind of this aspiring porn, some of the things that he's doing. It's kind of heartbreaking.
The Playgirl centerfold.
Right. I call that porn.
Oh, God.
That's interesting that
Oh, man.
a sort of a sideways attack.
Yeah.
Because she's saying, well, I just want to be respectful. He's the father of my grandchild, and I just want him to be okay. They're calling him Ricky Hollywood now. That's kind of a certainly a dig, because I doubt I doubt that Levi Johnston is. Then again, he's a giant douchebag, so maybe he is actually asking people to call him Ricky Hollywood.
I keep hearing Tina Fey when she talks. If she has any future in this, she has to learn to take a breath, calm down, and stop sounding like a frickin' cheerleader.
Because so much of the discussion with Levi has to do with his most beautiful baby boy, Trip, and Trip's future, that I don't think a national television show is the place to discuss some of the things that he's doing and saying. And by the way, I don't know if we call him Levi. I hear he goes by the name Ricky Hollywood now. So if that's the case, we don't want to mess up this gig he's got going, kind of this aspiring porn, some of the things that he's doing. it's kind of heartbreaking.
The Playgirl.
Her voice.
Right.
Yeah. Well, she starts new sentences before she finishes the prior sentence.
That's exactly it. That was the exact example.
Yeah.
Porn, some of the things that he's doing. It's kind of heartbreaking.
The Playgirl cynical.
Right. I call that porn.
I think it is porn.
Well, it is.
Whatever.
It is.
Yeah, that's
It's
great.
appropriate that you call it that.
It is.
It's
Sure,
just the way you structure your sentences is weird.
You're just a weirdo.
He's
That's
an
all.
aspiring porn. I mean, he's going to be in this with the thing. I go in there with.
Go. I'm not going there.
I thought you. I mean, I think if you didn't like Sarah Palin before the interview yesterday, you're not going to like her now.
Right.
But at the very least, I think it's now. I have a different perspective in that I think that she probably did get railroaded on some of the stuff, but most of the stuff, in my mind, that she was criticized for, she still made happen.
Yeah.
Because ultimately she could not answer questions. One thing that, and I don't think they have the clip of this, but that I was surprised for, is in her book she talks about how the McCain campaign, she puts a lot of this on them. She really hammers the campaign managers for, she says that they made her and Todd act like they were proud of the baby when their approach was going to be that they were disappointed that she engaged in premarital sex and that they're going to love the child like theirs, but that they still are disappointed in the consequences of premarital sex. And she felt it was portrayed as, look, we have a grandbaby, we're thrilled. And she talked about how the press release was done on that and how she said that's not how I wanted to read and that it eventually came out that way. And if that's true, she should be bent. She also talks in the book about how they gave her a bunch of note cards like you would have had if you were putting a speech together in high school or something.
Right.
And on it, on the front, it had a question. And on the back, it had a response that would get you out of the question without answering the question.
I see.
Yeah. Example. Ms. Palin, how do you feel? Governor Palin, how do you feel about the war in Iraq and the timetable for bringing the troops home? And then the answer would have been something like this, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't have it in front of me. Well, Senator McCain and I are huge supporters of our American military, and no one knows the military better than John McCain because of his experience as a senator and as a member of the U.S. Armed Forces. Thus, those decisions are going to be made very appropriately and with all of our hearts and minds.
So that's how you win an election, according to them? Dodging a question? Is that really how you do it?
That's certainly
pretty much. That's what most of them do.
And I think that's part of why, because she's not as easy of a speaker as other people, she's pulling, because remember that Tina Fey clip, the other one where she actually, I don't even remember what the question was, but it's the one that Joe mixed the two together.
Yeah.
I remember that. That response was very much a bullet point answer that didn't respond to the question that was asked.
Right.
And seeing her talk about how she was given these cards, and if Katie Couric had her on the run, if Katie Couric had flustered her with a variety of other questions, then no wonder she ended up looking like a buffoon. Now, the fact of the matter is, if you're going to be the vice president or the president, you still got to be able to get through it without being the buffoon.
That's the thing. I'm guessing the Obama campaign did the same thing with Joe Biden. They want to make sure their candidates are on the same page and saying the same things. You don't want conflict there because the media will pick up on it and say, well, so-and-so said this. And, in fact, that was a problem with Biden because he would say things that Obama hadn't said a few times.
Well, and
it almost bit him in the ass.
Both campaigns will try not to be pinned down on a various topic because then it can be used against them in an ad. So yeah, I don't think the Republicans are the only ones guilty of that. But it was really interesting to hear her say that it was as simple as a card with non-answers to the real questions on the front.
Oh my God!
It really actually kind of paints the whole election process as being pathetic, and
it
we'll never get. I mean, we all felt that way at the time.
Nobody could ever. I mean, you had that one instance when Jesse Ventura came across, and how refreshing it was when he ran. I believe it was under the Reform Party when he won Minnesota.
Yeah.
I mean, he just basically laid it out.
Yeah.
He went door to door, banged on doors, and got enough people in his corner, and he just said, this is how I feel on everything.
And it was so refreshing, I think, to Minnesotans and to everybody else who was watching across the country, even though they couldn't believe Jesse Ventura was going to win. But when you'd ask him a question, he'd say, well, this is how I feel, and I think it's stupid to do it another way. That was so refreshing.
In his book, I read that book, Ain't Got Time to Bleed or whatever it was, he said, I wasn't afraid to answer, I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, and that never happens.
And he said, I plan on associating myself with people who'll be able to help me in that decision. And that was it. You got no response.
Yeah. If there was a presidential candidate who would answer that way, I'd be inclined
Somebody try it. Please, somebody try it.
Won't ever happen.
No.
Doesn't seem like it anyway. We're running late. Take a break. It is the Free Beer and Hot Wings Show. 97.9 GRD, Grand Rapids Rock Alternative, the Free Beer and Hot Wings Show. Sunshine to start, then a few afternoon clouds, 52 the high. It's about 40 now downtown.
Been a lot of local stories in the news, and one that we haven't talked about, been meaning to for some time. Greg Paulson, the city manager for Grand Rapids, was taking input yesterday in a meeting about what to do about all these jobs, specifically cops, firefighters, stuff like that, those jobs suddenly being eliminated. Now it's just shy of 40 cops will be gone by January 1.
Man.
And I talked to a friend who is a cop.
Yeah.
And he told me this. Do you remember a handful of months ago when the city hired 8 cops?
Yeah.
They sat down in living rooms and homes with cops from other towns and recruited new cops, 8 of them.
Yeah.
And they said to them, because this cop's big beef, who I talked to, and I agree with him, is that how come they didn't see this coming?
Mm-hmm.
Because 4 months ago, they sat down with these prospective cops and said, come to Grand Rapids. Skies are sunny and bright.
Yeah.
Is there any chance of layoffs? The economy's been bad, and not a lot of police forces are hiring. Questions were asked by these recruits. Nope. Everything is fine. And that was the info that the people who were doing the recruiting were told.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
These people gave up their jobs, moved their families, and became cops in Grand Rapids. And they are on the block January 1. That effing sucks.
Yeah, that does suck.
And that fat-faced Paulson needs to come clean as to why he didn't know that. Because that's crap.
And there may be a reason. I don't know it.
Was he officially on the job yet?
City manager.
Right. Because he took over for Kurt Kimball, I think. And I know there was a lag there at some point where there was like an interim.
Well, I know that now they're faced with this dilemma and what to do. And it was hinted around by the mayor about raising taxes. How do you feel about that, Hot Wings? I mean, you can't, because they're gone unless they come up with a plan. Is this one of those things where it's absolutely necessary to raise the taxes? How much of a tax would they be looking at?
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't. I
mean, if it's $10 a year per person, is that worth fighting over? I think it is.
The thing is, it's easy for me to say, well, yeah, that's no big deal because I have a job. But there are a lot of people right now that don't have a job, so $10 is a big deal.
Yeah.
A year?
Well,
it works out to that?
Considering what they're up against. People are taxed a lot already.
I know it. But maybe if they did it in a way where let's say they come up with a way to tax it, but they have to be able to put a caveat that when things improve, if they improve, you can always put it back, can't you?
I think that's the reason. I think you're hitting at the point why a lot of people vote no on stuff like that, and they say, well, I give it up now, and I think it's exactly right. I never get it back. And people vote no. They're like, well, they're already taxing me for everything else.
Right.
It's not, and people will say it's not my fault that they didn't manage their money right. And I'm sure people would say, well, I feel terribly for those police officers. Now, again, like Hotwig said, if it were me voting, I would say yes, because I would rather have more police than less police almost every time.
Right.
That's a lot of cops.
It sure is.
Oh, it's a ton. I mean, I don't know how many are on the force altogether.
I think it amounts to about 15 or 16% of the force.
But 44 cops is a lot of cops.
Okay?
I mean, that's a significant amount of people.
Response times will be way down. I mean, seriously. I don't know, man. This stinks to high heaven.
Well, at the very least, I mean, if you don't have the money, you don't have the money, and that's a cold hard fact. But the fact that there were people, like you said, in their living room. I mean, if this happened at an athletic level where you're talking about recruiting, if a coach did this if Chuck Martin was out at Grand Valley saying, hey, come to Grand Valley and you'll get a scholarship and everything else, and then a kid came there and then he said, oh, now I changed my mind, I don't want you. That would be a big story. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And it's not the same scale. Moving your family for a job is much bigger than a college scholarship, but it's funny how it sort of gets lost in the shuffle like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. One of the other stories that was kind of bubbling under, and we've been meaning to get to, was these poor inmates. Oh, the agony.
Oh, I know. Well, they sustained, terrible injuries.
These poor inmates were trapped in a van because
they got
some
forgotten
dummy
about.
forgot about
Yeah,
them.
they forgot about them in the garage of the county courthouse for 2 hours. Now, this may have been an issue if it had been August and they were left out in the sunshine.
Mm-hmm.
But there was nothing wrong with them other than they were bored because they were in a garage and the temperatures were comfortable.
Probably felt a little hopeless.
So I'm sure it sucked. I'm sure it was very bored, but they're inmates, so their life is pretty boring at this point anyway.
These maniacs.
I mean, honestly,
this
it's
was
like
right.
know.
This was good that this happened to them in my mind. This should happen more.
They were locked in a van. They weren't in coffins.
Yes.
I mean, they were in a van. I know that those vans are busted up into little compartments, but I mean, it wasn't like.
And they were bound, weren't they?
They were shackled.
Probably,
yeah. They were shackled.
That's fine.
Yeah, they were shackled, but those shackles aren't, they're
Who
fairly
cares?
loose. They're just to keep people from, running.
Right. Now, as soon as this story broke, the first time we talked about it, we said, they're going to sue.
And we'll get to that because I have one of the inmates called the TV station, Fox 17. I actually have a clip from the inmate, okay, and his lunatic family.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, though, in chronological order, this is Hot Wings. You said a clip that you saw of Suzanne Jiha was doing her thing on this story. Now, this took place about Thursday of last week, yes? Roughly, because we were going to play it Friday morning.
Then, yeah, it must have been.
Okay,
yeah,
so
I couldn't remember the exact timeline.
set us up
but
here. I got the audio.
Well, I mean, a story like this, you need some serious investigative reporting, and that's why they put their main person. I mean, the face of the TV station is obviously Suzanne. And so she wanted to break it down. Okay. What were these inmates facing? What kind of peril may they have been inside of the van?
Was she panicky?
Well, no, I mean, nothing she did would have been over the top or excitable. That is not her style, as you know. It is usually very, very mild-mannered.
Level-headed.
So she breaks down the workings of a police van.
That's the story. Okay.
Yes, she went very, very deep, an in-depth investigation.
So this is more so than just sitting at the desk.
Oh, this is Diane
news.
Sawyer
this
time,
is
man. This is showing the world what kind of peril these poor gentlemen were in their awful,
these inmates, these
terrible
felons.
Conditions.
Okay.
That they were inside the van that they were locked in for 2 hours in a garage when it was 60
Moderate
degrees out.
temperate.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
We have a follow-up to a story we first broke earlier in the week after 3 Kent County Jail inmates were forgotten in a locked van underneath the courthouse in downtown Grand Rapids. On Tuesday, the prisoners were handcuffed and in leg irons and abandoned for 2.5 hours. The jail...
Abandoned is a strong word there.
Abandoned is the wrong word. They weren't abandoned. They were forgotten about. But abandoned means that you purposely left something. Like people abandon cars.
Way to go, neck vag. Good start.
Discovered them missing. There was an all-out search. The men were found in the courthouse garage and then brought back to jail.
End of story. Move on to sports.
Yep. No big deal.
Here's Jack Doles.
No big deal.
See, we have 2 minutes and 5 seconds left.
The interesting part about this piece is that Suzanne Jiha throws the story to herself in the field.
Well, that is awesome.
Yeah. Because you'll notice, as you can hear that audio, she was clearly in the studio.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, now, was she standing in the newsroom, or was she with people working feverishly behind her, or was she at the desk, or?
You know what? I don't remember, but she was in the studio, and then they throw it to her. She throws it to herself outside next to the Kent County Sheriff's Police van.
All right.
Which is cool.
Did she say more on the story? Here's me.
Well, you'll hear.
Now investigators are determining which deputies to hold responsible and what, if any, action will be taken against them.
None.
It's not our habit to discuss employee discipline matters in the media.
Yep.
Certainly we're going to look at it. There may be some action. I don't know at this point exactly what happened, of course. But it appears to be a matter of human error.
Any regrets about what happened here? Are apologies being made to the inmates? What action are you taking as a department?
Well, certainly we didn't want this to happen, and we're concerned that it did, and we'll find out why.
No.
Tonight,
I mean, Grady said, no, they're inmates. I don't really care.
No.
They get 3 meals, and you as a taxpayer pay for it. So shut up, giblet face.
Wanted to take a look at the prisoner transport van to see what it's like inside.
Wait, is she really doing a look inside the van?
Yeah, I wasn't kidding. This is a full-on investigation.
I thought you were kidding.
No, no, she breaks down how a van is set up.
This is exciting because I am not familiar with vans.
Yeah, guys.
Oh, this is awesome, man.
Police vans are like regular vans, but different, so she'll tell you.
Prisoner transport van to see what it's like inside.
You'll see there is a bench seat.
Well,
this is the window.
Just wait.
I'm here at the Kent County Jail parking lot.
She keeps throwing it to herself.
Yeah, it was weird.
She's everywhere, Steve.
Now, if you keep track, at this point, she was in the studio, threw it to herself,
interviewing,
talking to a reporter, or talking to a policeman out in the field, interviewing him.
Right.
Then she was back in the studio, and now she is back in the field.
In the
At the
field,
van.
yes. At the van.
I think she's all 3 places simultaneously.
Well, that's why they pay her the big dollars. She can do this. She morphs into different places.
She doesn't say, don't you know who I am? She says, don't you know who we are?
Maybe she's using her very attractive aunt as a body double.
It's a van like this that transports inmates from the jail to their court appearances and back again. This is where the deputy would sit to drive them back and forth.
Wait.
What you see here is something. They also refer to that as the driver's seat. This is a gas pedal. His right foot traditionally would push this down to push gas into it.
This is the steering circle. A guard would put his hands on it to choose directions.
Right behind it, you'll notice a columnar thing known as the column, and off of it is a twig. They call that the gear shift, and that puts it into a gear. These are headlights too. We'll cover that on my next I-Team report.
There are 2 main compartments. Let me show you.
Please do.
She walks over.
In the back here is one of the compartments. So you can see it. It's all metal.
Well, what did you expect it to be? Leather? You want like a conversion van by StarCraft here?
I thought there'd be a heart-shaped bed.
Where is the clam tub?
Hearing this makes me want to move out of this town.
The back of this, you'll notice, is made of metal. Well, thank you. Thanks, Columbo.
Come on. Way to go, McGruff.
Columbo.
Thank you, Steve.
So 3 men were in here. Those 3 men were taken to the courthouse with 3 other men who were separated in another compartment over here.
This is the silliest thing I have ever seen or heard in my life.
What is the other compartment made out of?
It's a metal compartment.
Oh, my God! I thought the second one might be made out of wood, but then pow!
Then there it was, like an encore. She said the same thing.
Tonight, we wanted to take a look at the...
I lost my place. Hold on.
Oh, God.
We are not done.
I hope I hope we can figure out where we're at on this big piece now that you've lost
in here.
it.
When the men got in...
All right. I don't want to miss a second of this.
I know, it's riveting, isn't it?
Here. Those 3 men were taken to the courthouse with 3 other men who were separated in another compartment over here. It's a metal compartment. It's pretty cramped quarters in here. When the men got into the van from the courthouse and brought back here to the jail, this compartment was unloaded, but the other compartment was forgotten. And the 3 men who were sitting in the other compartment were taken back to the courthouse where the van was parked and left until the men were discovered missing and then brought back here 2.5 hours later. The Kent County Undersheriff confirming
Back
when
to
the
her.
inmates arrived back at the jail, one was experiencing difficulty breathing and needed his inhaler. It was also discovered another inmate had urinated while sitting shackled in that van.
The whole thing about abandon, he urinated, he needed it. All these things. It seems to me like she's kind of hoping and praying something bad happens to the authorities.
I mean, yeah, technically, whoever was in charge of them was moderately negligent in following through on what they were doing, but it's not like it's the biggest terrible thing that ever happened.
Right.
These guys didn't cook in there.
If they were abused, that would be a reason for an investigation.
Yeah, if they had been beaten.
Undersheriff Hess tells 24-Hour News 8 he has surveillance tape of the van coming and going from the jail, but he has no video from the camera at the courthouse.
You are silly.
Here's
you are
how
a silly lady.
Here's how it would go for the discipline session. Tim, I understand you left some inmates in the vehicle.
Yeah, I'm sorry, boss. I don't know what I did, man. I'm sorry. I'm stupid.
Would you promise to try not to do it again?
Boss, you have my word. I am going to do a better job, and if I screw this up again, I'll leave. You won't even have to pay me any severance.
Because, Tim, you only get one shot on
this.
this.
Dude, I know. I know it. That was stupid.
All right.
I got one job. Take care of these losers.
Cool. Is your wife still going to play co-ed softball?
She's all about it, man.
All right, man. We're going to have a good time.
All right. Tug it out, bitch.
It's too bad you didn't drive the van into Lake Makatawa before you left it.
Yeah, it's cool. Whatever. Who cares? They're just inmates. Let's go talk to Jiha and act like we care.
I heard you say the word leave. Could you talk about trees a little?
Oh, my gosh. What a hassle to be her.
Well, when we first talked about that, as we said that they were going to sue.
Yep.
Just because that's what people do.
Because that's what people do, even though they're dirtbag inmates.
So have you guys seen Smita Koloki yet?
Yeah, she's super hot.
You know what? I haven't seen Smita.
Well,
no.
hot. Before we get to that, we have this is Chad. Hi, Chad.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey, my brother works at the jail.
Yeah.
And the news agencies failed to report that when those inmates got put in the van, they weren't on the list of transport. There were 9 people in the van, not 6. There were 6 guys on the list. Those 6 got out. The 3 that got left in the van ducked down and hid. And the guys that were driving it didn't know that they were in the van. So it was the dumbass inmates that decided, let's hide in the van and not say that we're here. And that's why they got stuck.
Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, and the news agencies don't like the King County
Well,
Sheriff's
we did not.
Department.
Well, you know what? You just did. You just clarified that. So
well done. Thank you, Chad.
How about that? Now, who knows if that can be
Assuming that
validated?
is true.
Assuming that is true, I'd like to assume that it is, because if a man's sitting in a van, I cannot believe that a trained professional, a guard, would be that stupid. I mean, guards make mistakes. They're people too, but I think they're smarter than the criminals.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would think you would pretty much always check both sides, but, whatever.
And it does seem possible that you could get up there and, especially if there's only 6 on the list, kind of get busy doing whatever you do. Yeah. I don't know what they do once they're there, and then sort of forget about it. That's possible too. But if they really were ducking down, that changes the perspective on that.
So then, 2 nights ago, I believe it was, Fox 17 did a story about this exact thing, and one of the inmates called in and was able to. They were able to get his take on it through the prison phone. And this is unbelievable. This is a story that we're right.
How could it happen? 3 inmates locked up and mistakenly left alone in a jail transportation van for hours. Forgotten. It's a story we first told you about last week. Tonight there are still questions. And
you can't say you first told. Wood said they broke the story. Now what's going on?
Did you do a van breakdown?
To blame. Fox 17 Smita Koloki is at the Kent County Jail with the latest. Smita.
Oh, yeah, look at them. They got to send somebody else over there.
Yeah, someone who actually looks like a woman.
What?
I don't know what that means.
Joe, I think you said something funny. Joe, your mic wasn't on.
You missed it.
A clown just walked down the hallway.
Joe, what did you say? That clown is here?
Yeah, the clown. The clown is bad.
I hate all clowns, but that one that comes in once in a while.
Gotta see a funny clown.
A crazy pause. It was stupid.
Lindsay, Louis Petway is locked up and inside the jail tonight. He was one of those 3 inmates who was locked inside of a van and then only to be discovered hours later.
Now, let me just ask my boner. Oh, yeah, he's fine with it.
Tonight he is speaking out about what he calls one of the most terrifying experiences in his life.
Terrifying?
This fella.
Oh, for God's sake.
Called it terrifying.
You're in jail. Your whole life is about being confined. That's what you do. That's your job, is to be confined. Mm-hmm. So all you did was spend 2 hours being confined somewhere new.
Yeah.
That's not terrifying.
Wait till you hear his beast mom, too.
Went to court that day.
33-year-old Louise Petway has done hard time before after a drug conviction, but not quite like this.
Hell yeah, it was scary. I mean,
hell yeah.
Excuse my language, but yes, it was.
Last Tuesday, Petway, along with 2 other inmates, Greg Harris and Kevin Lockhart, were mistakenly left in a jail transportation van. He says officers took some of the inmates out, but never came back for them.
She basically left, and we had tried to get her attention because she had opened up the little chute that's inside of the back of the van. And she had cut the light on, so we tried to get her attention, and she was on the phone, obviously, with somebody else.
You are a bull liar. You are a bull effing liar.
And when she hung up the phone, she just got out the van and left.
After the men didn't show up for roll call at the main jail, deputies launched an all-out search. Turns out they were still in the van.
By the way, she has a cold, in case you're wondering.
And in the garage underneath the courthouse in Grand Rapids.
I'm not one to be afraid of the dark, but when you trapped inside of a metal box, you have no...
The dead bit me in the neck.
But that's the only other emotion that you know is fear.
Tonight,
I need a ambulance.
His fiancée and mother are outraged.
I would like to know where the accountability
All right, here you go. Get ready.
Is. I feel there was a lack of professionalism, and for such a structured environment, there should have been much more structured guidelines and policies and procedures that should have been set in place.
I want their job. I don't want no suspension because you should have been doing your job a little bit better.
Earlier this week,
you want their job? I don't think you'd be very good at it.
Yeah,
you don't have any training.
Yeah, I'm not sure you're qualified.
I don't think they're hiring the morbidly obese that has to breathe oxygen.
County Sheriff's Department said it's looking into it.
We have an internal investigation underway to determine, how and why this happened.
But whoever is responsible could have to answer to more than just the Sheriff's Department. Luis's family has contacted a lawyer.
No, I'm not going to ask him. Have somebody else to ask him for me.
Yeah, they're going to ask him for you.
I'm going to have my lawyer to ask him.
Oh, man, the lawyer's going to do the axing.
Yeah, because you can't ax him? Why not?
I would ax a lumberjack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Let's let that soak in a little more. Go back. This is Mama.
Have somebody else to ask him for me. I'm going to have my lawyer to ask him.
And right now, Lewis is sitting in jail facing felonious weapons charges, and his mom is taking on this legal battle for him, waiting to hear from the attorney to see if a lawsuit would even
cashing in pop bottles for his defense fund.
have any merit. And Lindsay, as for that police investigation, it could take quite some time here, but when it does all pan out, we'll have a better understanding of if anybody is responsible and exactly who is to blame here.
God. Yeah.
So you faced weapons charges. But the scariest thing you've ever had is when you've been trapped in a metal box. It seems like that was one of the safest moments of your whole life.
Crack houses don't scare me, but God, dark places sure do.
What about when your mom sat on you?
Oh, jeez, man.
Did you hear that, lady?
I haven't.
When Mrs. Klump is mad, look out.
I didn't know Shirley Hemphill lived in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Is that her by any chance?
No,
that's not her.
That woman actually looks like a human.
Oh, I
wondered. You should see this beast. No, that is not her.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Gee whiz.
Well, quite a story.
It is, but I can't. I hope they get to the bottom of this soon.
I think they're going to have to tear that van apart. I think that's the only way to learn more.
Well, I think so, yeah.
Take it apart and put it back together.
Yeah, that sucker's going to have to be blueprinted.
They were abandoned. Boy, when listening to the two clips, the two bits of coverage, you tend to pick out certain things about each one of them. I will let you decide. But I don't know. They seem a little weird to me when comparing them.
1-800-947-3979. You can email idiots@freebeerandhotwings.com. Well, JT is in next.
All right.
That is on the way. We'll take a break. It is the Free Beer and Hot Wings Show.